A man protects his family, Frank, but who will be able to protect their family in this haunted town? Welcome back, guys, to Fog Entertainment. We are here today to review a brand new show. If you're into horrors, if you're into thrillers, if you're into supernatural mystery-like stuff, then this show could be the show for you, and you can currently catch it on MyGM Plus on Sunday nights. But we're here to review Season 1, Episode 1, the premiere, which was called Long Day's Journey into the Night, which is a kind of lengthy title for an opening episode, but we can work with that.
Pilot would have done.
Yeah, it's not a deal breaker. You know what? I think it's lazy when shows called Episode 1 pilot, so I have no problem with this longer title. Works for me.
Yeah, if I think of top TV shows, literally they're all called pilot, apart from The Walking Dead. Days gone by. Maybe it's something to do with horror.
Could be, and one of the main things that brought me to this series was the fact that the lead member, the top man of the show, is Harold Perrineau, who is a pretty good actor, and we've seen him in big shows such as Sons of Anarchy, a personal favourite of ours.
He was in Lost.
He wasn't Lost as well.
Nation.
C Nation.
We're just getting worse here.
He was in C Nation for 5 minutes, but he was still in it. C Nation was weird because we felt like he was going to play the main character, but then he dies, 5 minutes into the show. But here, we're not talking about C Nation. Let's find out if he dies in From. So we start the show with Sheriff Boyd. That is who Harold plays, and he's walking down the streets here, walking down the town, ringing his bell. He's signalling that it is time for the townsfolk to head indoors. He's making them know that nightfall is approaching, the sun is going down, and already, straight off the bat, you get this eerie feeling that you don't want to be out here come dark. It's almost like there's a curfew, and Sheriff Boyd is saying, look, you have to get back inside, folks. Night is coming. So straight away, you're kind of anticipating, well, what happens at night? Why does everybody need to get indoors? You got Lauren, who is one of the residents in this town, and her daughter, she's playing out in the swings. Her daughter asks for 5 more minutes, and then we see Sheriff Boyd walk by and it's like, hey, Megan, listen to your mom. And, Megan says, okay, she respects Sheriff Boyd's authority, which, a lot of kids don't do in the real world. So, can you imagine in the real world, someone saying to a kid, here, you have to go home now?
I know.
You'd be like, F off you.
Probably would have got shot.
Probably would have got shot, but yeah, she listens to Sheriff Boyd, which again makes you feel like there is a real danger here. And then Boyd continues to do his walk. Then we see Megan go inside, and they're waiting on her father, Frank, who's yet to come home. But it turns out that Frank's in the local bar, and he's passed out, and he is not going to make it home. So we then see Sheriff Boyd. We get introduced to his lieutenant, his deputy, Kenny. Kenny is an Asian man, so I don't know if that has any relevance here, but Kenny's Asian, if anyone asks. So.
We've got all walks of life here. I'm loving it.
Yeah, all walks of life. So Kenny is speaking to this woman that I believe he's got a love interest in. Can't exactly remember. I think it's, what's her name? Christy.
I was going to say Susie, but Christy.
Christy. So we
ballpark.
We get introduced to Kenny, we get introduced to Christy, but I mean, we don't really see much. You're literally talking 10-15 seconds. And Boyd basically tells them, look, that's it, get home for the night, and we'll talk in the morning. So everyone's home, but we go back to the Lauren and Megan house in there. I forget their name. Do they have a name? Do they have a family name? I don't think so.
Well, of course they do, but we just don't know it.
Yeah, we don't know it. So they're getting ready for bed, and we see Megan do her prayers, and we hear knocks on the window, and apparently it's Grandma.
It's Granny. Your Granny's at the door.
Now, you've got to wonder, how would a grandma be knocking on a second floor window? I mean, grandmas aren't really the most agile of people, I'm sure there's some athletic grannies, but I mean, most of them are not.
Exactly, so this tells me that it's not your granny.
So the fact that there's a granny kind of hovering on a second floor window would kind of tell me that there's something suspicious going on here, but she tells Megan, I'm your grandma, it's cold out here, will you let me in? Megan's like, you don't look like Grandma. Lauren tells her, Megan, that's not Grandma. Get away from the door. But Grandma tells Megan that she's lonely out here. Can you let me in? And then Megan being a kid and not knowing any better, opens the window. Lauren shouts no. That doesn't stop Grandma from transforming into some sort of monster with massive fucking teeth and jumping through the window. And turns out she murders them both.
It seems like amateur hour here, though, for this family. Like, surely if you are accustomed to this way of life, of course, we don't know anything. Should this kid really be in their own room when these things are outside and there's potential for them to open windows and interact with these creatures?
That's a good point. However, we do find out that Sheriff Boyd had precautions to make sure that didn't happen. Then we cut to the Matthews family, who are not in the town. They're going on some sort of, like, I don't know, holiday, family trip in their RV. You see an RV and it reminds you of the good old days of Breaking Bad. So we get introduced to, well, when I see an RV, that's what I automatically think of. I don't know about you.
Yeah, you're right. Absolutely. But at the time, I didn't, to be honest.
So we get introduced to Jim, his wife, Tabitha, his daughter... What's her daughter's name?
Ellie?
No, it's not Ellie.
I think it is Ellie.
It's not. It's definitely not Ellie.
Are you sure? I'm actually willing to bet heavy money that it is Ellie.
It's not Ellie. Julie.
It sounded like Ellie.
And the son is called...
Tyrone.
No, it's definitely not Tyrone.
Are you sure it's not Tyrone?
It's definitely not.
What about Table Leg?
Toby. No, it's not. No, Toby. No. Ethan.
Ethan.
So, yeah.
Do you like my name, Table Leg?
Aye. So we get introduced to them, and they're on the RV. We can tell straight away that Jim and his wife are like, they're having problems. They're not really getting on. So I think the marriage here could...
It's on the ropes.
Yeah, it could be split. We later find out in the episode that she had given like a miscarriage like not so long ago. So don't know when that was, but that could be what's leading to
things are about to get worse.
That could be leading to the family, obviously, breaking apart. And they're travelling in their RV, and they come across a tree that is downed in the road. So they go out, they look at the tree. Ethan thinks they should be able to push the tree with the RV, but Jim's like, don't be silly, Ethan. This RV can't push a tree. Then we get crows that appear, and they start crowing, I guess. What noise does a crow make? They start doing that, and the Matthews family decide that they are going to retreat and that they're going to have to get back in their RV, do a 180, and find another way past the tree.
Did you think they seemed a bit more creeped out about the crows rather than other stuff this episode? Like, I know crows act weird and that's like a symbol, oh, death, whatever, but I feel like there was almost a big freak out here for no reason.
You know, they don't really find anything else out this episode, though.
Well, I'd say going around in circles and end up in the same place as creepy.
Well, hold on, I think they do freak out about that.
Oh, but it's like similar, like, oh fuck, there's crows, get back to the RV.
Listen, they were walking back, they were like sheepishly about it.
We should go. I'm not saying it was similar levels, but my point is, I feel like there was almost an over-exaggeration here about the crows. I know if I broke down the car and I got out and I saw a couple of crows doing some weird stuff, I'd be like, alright, I'll just move on. I'd lift the fucking tree and toss it the road.
Alrighty, then we get Frank coming home the next morning. He's drunk, he walks to his house, he sees a bunch of people outside. He's like, what's happened here? Is Lauren having another bake-off? He kind of laughs, but none of the residents outside his house are laughing. And then Sheriff Boyd comes out, and he just comes out and he like slaps the shit out of Frank. It's like, what'd I tell you, Frank? You have kids, you nailed the goddamn window shut. Frank's like blubbering here. He's I'm sorry. And Boyd's not having it, so Boyd grabs Frank and he drags him upstairs. Frank doesn't want to look, but he's like, "Oh, you're gonna look," and he takes him into the bedroom where Kenny's waiting, and we see the dead bodies of Lauren and Megan. It's like their entire ribcage, like their stomachs have been gutted.
Yeah, maybe it's like they rip out all the organs, hearts, kidneys, lungs, intestines. Everything.
Could they be like organ donors or something? Like, I mean, selling these organs on the black market?
But no, I like about this, right? Not the fact there's two dead bodies on the floor and they've no organs, but that tells me it's proper horror. It's not like they just disappear or they just die and they pass out. There's no blood. There's actual gore.
Yeah,
I like that.
Boyd wants Frank to look. Frank does not want to look, and then he points at going, "Oh, you're gonna look, Frank. You're gonna look. A man protects his family."
I actually thought he was going to kill him here.
And Kenny, I think, tries to calm down Boyd a little bit. Then
you lock him up.
Lock him up, son. Boyd then goes to leave, and then we see the priest arrive, and him and him and Boyd have like a wee moment where they look at each other, and I thought something really bad was going to happen here the first time I watched it, but thankfully Boyd just walks out.
What do you think? We think Boyd was going to deck him?
No, I thought it was going to be worse than that.
Oh, did you?
Aye.
Oh, damn.
The way they had this wee look, you know, like at each other, and I thought, oh Christ, no, not this. But,
I get you.
But no, they walk.
Episode 3.
They walk out. There was no Bill and Frank here, so thank God for that.
Maybe episode 2 will be Bill and Frank.
Brokeback Mountain.
Boyd and Priest.
Aye. So they then leave, and later on we see them getting a funeral service for Lauren and Megan. At this stage, the Matthews arrive in town, and they stop. Jim gets out and just kind of like interrupts the funeral service.
I thought this was very rude.
I thought this was a dickhead move from Jim.
Yeah. Like, see at the end, all that's happened to them is they're lost, and there's a couple of cars with their tyres are blown out. Yeah,
at this stage they don't really know anything apart from there's some crows sitting on that tree. This is not like a major like emergency. I don't think they should have been like interrupting this funeral service, but they did. Jim's like asking for and as soon as Boyd sees them, he's kind of like, right, come on, wrap this up. There's people here.
Come on, doesn't matter. Who gives a shit?
Who cares who died? We gotta wrap this up. There's no people here. Jim tries to ask some people for directions. They just completely blank him. Maybe that's what he deserves for interrupting this funeral, though. Then Boyd comes up and Boyd speaks to him, and he tells him, well, if you keep going that way, you'll find where you want to be.
You'll get back to the highway. Don't worry about it. You'll find peace.
Then Jim is like, right, okay. Jim jumps back in his RV, and the Matthews family kind of seem a little bit, I wouldn't say freaked out, but they don't really, I don't think they like these town folk.
No, even looking at this town, you can tell something's up.
Yeah, you got cars upside down. Things just look like they belong in the, I don't know when this was set, like, but it looks like 100 years ago. So yeah, they make their way. They go up the road. However, about 10 minutes later, they find themselves back in the town, which they can't really believe because they were like driving straight. They didn't like do a 180. So they keep on going. They ask one of the residents, Sarah, but again, she just blanks them like everybody else does. And they make their exit again from the town. We then get Boyd and Kenny. They are discussing what they're going to do with these people. And Kenny's like, Boyd's like, just leave it to me. Everyone remembers their first time in the town. He says he will deal with it alongside Kenny. Then we see them go back. They're arguing about driving. And they find themselves back in the town after driving for a prolonged period of time. The family are freaking out. Tabifa's like, how's this possible? You didn't go around in a circle. You drove in a straight line. How can this lead back to the town? And I question that. How can a straight line lead back to this town?
No, yeah, at this point, things are up. You've got, because, like, I mean, I'm very good with direction, so surely anyone with any sort of directional sense knows this can't happen.
It can't happen. Jim, at this point, I think he's had enough. He's like, screw this shit. So he pulls into the diner, does a 180, and goes back the way he came. So he figures that, you know what, if we go back the way, we can get out of here. So they're going back. The family's still continuing to argue. Tabifa's like, you know, maybe you should slow down. It's like, I'm going 20 miles an hour, god damn it. They're looking for turn-offs, but there's no turn-offs. Boyd and Kenny then prepare fire tracks. I guess they're going to stop the Matthews the next time they drive through town. And then, couldn't this cause an accident, like, preparing these tire tracks?
Of course, no, yeah, like, what actually happens could happen with this entire thing. Like, the RV could just fly off the road, but this must be the way they stop everyone. Maybe that's why all the tyres are out.
I suppose, because like if Boyd says to him, like, you have to stay here forever now, I mean, what's he going to say? I mean,
that's alright, mate. Here's the RV. Here's the keys.
So they're trying to make their way, and then they see another vehicle. They're like, here, let's ask them for help. But it turns out this vehicle is like out of control, and they crash. We got a big crash. The vehicle kind of like crashes into like a tree, but the RV plunges off the side of the road and crashes into the woods.
Yes, and then this is when the entire Matthews family, if you're not wearing your seatbelt, you're probably not looking good to your back. The only guy wearing a seatbelt was, what's his name?
Jim.
But he's very lucky here because the tree absolutely smashes through the windscreen.
And it cups him in like a nice wee position.
He's just nice and toasty sitting there.
He's got like, he's in between.
It's like a roller coaster.
He's in between two branches, you know what I mean? It's kind of like weird. I mean, a couple of inches to one side, like, and Jim could have been dead.
Yeah, and then you've got Ethan, whose leg is absolutely humped here. The table legs just went right through it.
Right through his leg. Julie's complaining of a sore back, and
Tabby's knocked out.
Tabitha is laying there, not moving. We then see one of the guys from the car run back to this town, finds out his name is Toby. He alerts Boyd what's happening. Boyd tells Kenny to get reinforcements, and Boyd runs to check to make sure that everyone's okay. Boyd reaches the incident first. He handcuffs the other guy in the car to the car door, who seems out of it.
Yeah, they must have been high.
I believe his name is Jade, and he's saying like, "Oh, you're beautiful" and all this stuff, and he just seems like he's absolutely off his rockers. Boyd then goes to check on the Matthews family, checks on the RV, makes sure everyone's okay, tries to calm down Jim. He then gets inside and he looks at the rest of the family, and he manages to get Julie from the RV. He also checks on Tabitha, and she's still breathing, so this means everyone's happy for now.
We're alright.
But Jim's still stuck. It's weird. He's trying to push the tree, trying to escape, but he's stuck there. He can't do anything. Boyd then gets Julie to a tree outside, and then the rest of the cavalry come. You've got Kenny. You've got, what's her name?
The doctor.
Christy.
But see the daughter, what's her name, Julie?
Mm-hmm.
Right, now they're saying her back was sore, but it looked like with assistance, she got up really easy, and it looked like she could have almost got up by herself. Like, I'm not saying here, I've never been in a car crash to this extent, but I feel like she jobbed her family out here.
What kind of car crashes have you been in?
Jobber ones, taps. I haven't been in massive ones, like, that's my point.
Yeah, so she gets helped out. And then, like I said, the rest of the people come. You've got Father Catry, you've got Kenny, you've got Christy, and you have Boyd's son, who he does not get on with at all. For whatever reason, we don't really know.
Yeah, it's weird. There's just nothing really... I'm going to guess here. I mean, I think maybe he blames his dad for their mum dying or something. Maybe it'll have something to do with how they got here. Who knows? He holds resentment towards his daddy, Boyd.
Yeah, him and his dad don't get along, so... Which is evident earlier in the episode where we see Boyd go to visit his son Ellis, and he goes to like the house, it's like the colony house, and it seems to be like a house where like all the misfits just kind of go and stay. It's like a big party house in the town, so... It is a bit weird that Ellis isn't staying with his father. He has he's living in the colony house, and when Boyd goes to try and speak to him, Ellis isn't really interested. Ellis is currently at that point he is painting a picture of his girlfriend, and I felt like that was kind of rude when Boyd goes to see Ellis. He just kind of like blanks him, and it's like wants nothing to do with him. Boyd tells Ellis that they lost people last night, and he just doesn't seem to care.
Yeah, he almost like pinning it on Boyd. He's like, well, it's what you do, big man. Again, his dad getting unfairly treated here, but I guess we'll find out. I don't think whatever he's done's warranted this. This just seems to me like petty teenage behaviour here.
It does, but speaking of fathers that do get on with their sons, earlier we seen Kenny playing chess with his father, who seems to be suffering from some sort of dementia.
Yes, and he has to go into the basement at night because he'll open doors.
But that doesn't stop him from winning chess games, because he's very good at chess. Apparently he's never lost.
Should have entered the world championship for chess.
I mean, the town, there might not be much going for the town, but it looks like they at least have a world champion chess player available. Back at the incident, though, everyone is helping them out. They're trying to get everybody out. They get Tabitha out. Then they get Jim out, and it leaves just Ethan, who is still trapped in the RV. We see Christy, the medic, trying to help. She's trying to make sure that he's secure and that he's stable. Jim then goes to speak to his family, but Tabitha's complaining that Boyd has told them that they need to leave. Jim's like, we're not going anywhere. My son's in there. And then Boyd's like, look, please listen to me. I don't want to bury any more kids today. And Jim's like, right. So, I mean, Boyd tells them that the woods are not safe at night. And I don't think they really know what he means. Like, if someone said to me the woods are not safe at night, I would maybe assume there's some sort of like wolves or something, or
some form of animals or something like that. Your first thing would not be, oh, the supernatural thing's going on here. There's demons in there.
Yeah, so we kind of Boyd then tells them to just look. why don't you get your wife and your daughter back to the town, and you can stay here with Ethan tonight. Back in the town, though, where we seen Toby earlier, that was the other member from the car that was in the crash. He's back in, like, the hospital bed, getting looked after. We see dementia aging grandma getting, what was the name? Lou. We see Lou getting taken to the basement after his game of chess. Lou says he doesn't like Toby, the newcomer. One of the nurses asks why is that. He says, look at the mess he made. And it's like, she goes, that's not his fault. I mean, what's this old guy's problem? This Toby guy's been in a car crash and he's complaining. He doesn't like him.
Maybe he forgot though. Maybe they explained he was in a car crash and he's forgot. He's like, he's making a mess. I don't make a mess. I dribble into my soup.
So yeah, he's taken to the basement. We then see Sarah, who's looking after Toby. Sarah gives him water. She's asking him some questions and stuff like this. And Toby's answering the questions. He wants to know who everyone is. She said, you're going to be okay. It's fine. Then she says that, that this isn't your fault. And Toby seems a little bit confused. And then Sarah, like, drives a screwdriver up in through his, like, throat, and it comes out through his mouth and tongue, and it didn't look like a good way to go.
No, it was a brutal death.
And he kind of just, like, bleeds out on the hospital table, and Sarah's left there just having killed somebody. So, we thought the danger was from some sort of, like... we didn't think the danger was from people that were in the town, let's put it that way, but we see Sarah, one of the town residents, just killing Toby, who was in the car crash here. So
yeah, I wonder what the reasoning is behind this.
Could there be more? Could there be several dangers in this town? We do not know. Boyd then, back at the crash, says that they're going to stay there tonight. He asks Christy if they stay tonight, can she work on his leg? Can she save the boy? She's like, yeah. Kenny doesn't think this is a good idea. He's like, you can't stay out tonight. But Boyd says, look, we've got this. But Boyd holds up the talisman, and apparently that means you're safe from the night. This talisman is supposed to protect you from the monsters, and it's essentially like a shield that doesn't allow them in. And if you've noticed throughout the beginning of this episode, it's like all the houses and like all the buildings and stuff, they've all had like talismans at the door.
Yep, in the diner I noticed that.
So this is to like protect people from the monsters in the town. At this stage, we get Kenny. He takes back Jim's family, his wife and daughter, alongside Jade, who was in the car crash, and Ellis, Boyd's son. And we're left in the RV with just Jim, Christy, Boyd, and Ethan, who is still stuck, still impaled. They're then working on Ethan. Boyd's trying to secure the RV. He's like, Jim, can you pass me that blanket? Jim passed him the blanket, and he's like putting the blanket up to kind of like cover the back of the RV, trying to cover the windows and trying to shield them in the back of the RV. Jim asks, what is he doing? Boyd's like, I'm trying to keep the RV safe. I'm trying to protect the RV. Jim asks him, what are you protecting it from? But at this stage, Ethan wakes up, kind of distracts Jim, and he can't, I guess, ask Boyd his questions. They then focus on the kid, but we can hear things coming from the woods.
We see things coming
from the woods, and Boyd looks out. And then back on the car, when they see the all group trying to get back to the town, they run over the tire tracks that were put out earlier, which was really, come on. Well, that's kind of rookie. Like, I get it. A lot's happened, and you probably forgot, and you're in a rush to get back to the town.
Was Kenny driving?
I think he was.
That just makes it even worse.
But you can kind of understand, I guess, they're in a rush, but still, it's bursting your own tires. They start freaking out. They get out and they discuss that we're going to have to run to the colony house because that's the closest place to us, and I don't think we'll make it back to the town. Kenny doesn't know if they're going to let them in, but Ellis is like, no, they'll let us in. And then they tell everyone, look, we need to run here. Don't look behind you. If you see anything, don't stop. Keep on running. And then they make their way through the fields to the colony house. And back in the RV, you've got Boyd. He peeks open the blankets, and then you can see just like a bunch of figures and bodies surrounding the RV as they get closer. And that's where the episode ends.
So, absolutely spooky ending there.
Suspense. You don't know what's going to happen. Is the group with the tires, are they going to make it to the house? Is Ethan going to survive? What's going to happen inside the RV with all these figures at night approaching? Why did Sarah kill Toby? What the hell is going on in this town? So many questions. I think were asked in this premiere, and it's like you do not know the answer, so straight away you're intrigued and you want to know more. For me, I thought it was a great premiere. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I think it's different from anything I've seen. I don't think I've seen another series that I would say is similar to this. People have compared it to Lost a little bit, which I guess is maybe a bit like Lost, but with a more spooky, supernatural horror theme to it.
Yeah,
Could you argue that?
It's got a similar premise of like an unknown. I feel like with Lost though, it kind of just feels like they're on an island. This feels like something bigger's at play straight away. I feel like at Lost, you've got the whole idea, right? They're on an island. Even though in like the first episode of Lost, you think, here, is that like a dinosaur that's just attacked them? Nothing really like that here, but I'm liking it. I'm liking the horror elements, and it's got Big Harold in it. Lost legend.
And I like the characters, you know, there's not one character straight off the bat that I thought, you know, I don't like.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. Well, I mean, Frank seems like a bit of a douchebag to leave his family at home in this sort of world, but apart from him, you're just not really supposed to like him, so that's all good. Yeah.
I know, but he just seems more like a drunk waster rather than a bad person.
Well, no, I agree, but I mean, I'd argue they are bad people then.
Well, that is true. That is true. So yeah, guys, we are looking forward to episode 2 to see who survives, who doesn't survive. But yeah, based on the premiere, I really enjoyed it. I would personally give it a 9 out of 10. I thought it was a really good premiere. I enjoyed it. Yes. I liked it, and it's got me excited to watch the rest of the show.
8. Very good, strong. One of the best premieres you'll get, especially these days.
8.5 out of 10 then.
8.5 is good.
Definitely I think it's one of the best premieres of a show I've watched. I still think the Strain episode 1's the best premiere I've ever seen. But this one is definitely, I would go as far as saying this is probably my top 5 premieres.
No, yeah, I agree. I mean, I think maybe if you're going to take some things away from it, maybe it reveals too much. Like, there's like a town, there's like loads of people. Maybe they could have went a bit more, like...
How do you not reveal the town in episode 1?
Oh, that's the thing.
But again, I also think that's good, because I think it gives you a lot, but without giving too much away, in my opinion. It's like, I think it does, I think it shows you a lot to intrigue you, but it doesn't spoil too much, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So, 8.5, very good. And you know what? 10 episodes this season, isn't there? So
10 episodes in season 1, 10 episodes in season 2. Will any
episode be episode 1? I actually think it will. I think it will get better with the intrigue.
Well, we'll find out, guys. Make sure you leave a like, make sure you subscribe, comment down below. We will catch you in episode 2. But we're also going to make theory vids throughout the season, so make sure you check out for that, because there's lots of things to discuss here. There's lots of things that we need to know answers to. Why certain things happened, what is happening, why did so-and-so do this. There's so much questions that need to be answered, and we hope that together we can help answer them on Fog Entertainment. That's it. Premiere from. We'll catch you in the next one, and until next time, peace. And remember, a man's supposed to keep his family safe. It turns out Lou was playing checkers and the monsters were playing chess. Welcome back, guys, to Fog Entertainment here to review Season 1, Episode 2 of From. This one is called The Way Things Are Now. And I guess that episode title would refer to basically the way the life is now for the residents of this town.
You're goddamn right, that's what it means, because there's no escaping, and this is your new reality, your new house, your new home.
Yes, and we really enjoyed the premiere, and we start episode 2 with, I guess these are like flash forwards, and I remember The Walking Dead did these like when The Walking Dead was in its prime, when it would foreshadow stuff at the beginning of episodes.
Yes, and we've seen it, you know, Walking Dead and Breaking Bad. A lot of Breaking Bad, actually. Like, Walter would be like the swimming pool. Walter would be counting money, or would see a teddy bear. Walking Dead, Shane's headbutting stuff, shaving his dome. Rick, he's got blood dripping. And then it would cut back to the normal time, the present time. And I like the incorporation of this.
I like it. I think as long as it's not done too much, as long as it's not done too often, I think things like this can work. But then we get the intro of the show, and I don't feel like we need the intro every single episode, because the intro is about 2 minutes long, and it's just like, I mean, surely in future episodes you can shorten the intro a little bit so we're not having to sit through the intro. I mean, I know that's not really a complaint for the episode because it's got nothing to do with the episode, but still, I would prefer if that didn't happen. But yeah, in the flash forward we see Kenny. He's got a big axe and he is cutting down trees, and then So we pick up where we left off from the last episode with the group on foot after their vehicle ran over the spike strips. They then have to make their way to the colony house. The rain's pouring down, it's nightfall, they're panicking, they're dreading. Are they going to make it? Are they not going to make it? Are the doors going to be open for them? Are the doors not going to get open for them? We then get Jade, who's the guy that is like the drunk guy, the drugged up guy.
The junkie.
He falls and cracks his head, and for a moment you felt like they were going to leave him behind, but the father, Katri, and Ellis come back and save him, and they help lift him up. They get to the front doors of the colony. There's people inside the colony, and they're like, look, Ellis is out there, let him in. But there's another guy standing at the door, guarding the door with a shotgun, and he's like, those aren't our people. I'm not opening the door. Outside, we have Ellis and, the Matthews family banging on the door, wanting to get in. We then see some of the monsters appear from like the other side of the balcony. They're closing in. One of them calls Julie by name. I don't know if they can like represent like figures that might be in the other person's personal life. I'm not too sure if that's true or not.
It must be, because I think when you see with some of the reactions, it's as if they do know them. Or maybe it's just someone hearing their name going, how do they know my name? Who is that?
Could be that. But then Kenny steps in front of Julie and starts shooting at the figures. It doesn't really do anything, so I guess this is pretty true that bullets don't really do much.
It just slows them down.
Yeah, it could be a case of bullets just slow down the monsters. Then eventually Donna drags her big fat ass down the stairs, and she tells the guy to let them in. She's like, look, I know you're scared, but we got to let these people in. We can't let them die. Then they do get allowed in. They all rush through the door, but as soon as they're in, Donna has the shotgun, and she's pointing it at them, and she's telling Tabitha, she's telling Julie, and she's telling, well, the other guy's knocked out, so she ain't really telling him anything.
He sparked it. Good
but
night.
She's telling them to get down. Ellis thinks, like, you don't need, Ellis thinks this is a little bit too far. Kenny's like, can't believe that they're, holding them at gunpoint, but she wants them tied up because she doesn't trust them, and she says, look, this is what we do with everybody. This is the precautions we take. So, they get to the colony house, but they weren't exactly treated with like a hero's welcome. In fact, they were tied up with rope and separated. So
I get that, but at least they were let in, and knowing this world, I don't actually blame these precautions. But I guess these monsters, could they really go to this extent where they infiltrate these houses and pretend that they're human till everything's alright and then just annihilate them all?
Yeah, I agree. Like, these people, you don't. If you do not tie them up, if you do not separate them, like literally, what is stopping from like Julie or Tabitha literally trying to make a run for the door?
Exactly.
To try and escape.
That is the biggest problem.
And then all the monsters are in, and then before you know it, everybody in the colony house is dead. We then go back to the RV where they try and stabilize Ethan. We can hear noises. They're saying, let us in. There's knocking on the doors, and they says, we can help you. We can help save the boy. And Jim's like, oh, you're not gonna. They came back for us. You're not gonna let them in. And Boyd's like, no,
nope,
I'm not gonna do that. And then Jim's like, well, if you're not gonna do it, I'm gonna do it. Jim tries to get to the front door of the RV, but Boyd's not having it. And I mean, this was like a little bit of a tussle, but Boyd literally took care of Jim with no problem and placed him in a chokehold. I went, are you good, Jim?
I know. Just grabs him.
And then,
you good, big man?
And then Jim was like, yeah, I'm good. Then Boyd like pushes him away, and Jim mutters something to Boyd. Who knows what he said? Is that a fairy fid? What did Jim say about Boyd?
What did Jim say? Hopefully it was nice and not beginning with end.
Definitely not. That wouldn't be a very nice thing to say. So
as if he said, I probably opened the fucking door.
So then we get Christy, who continues to work on Ethan. Jim asks Boyd more questions about what are these things. If they're not people, then what are they? And Boyd's like, we don't know. We don't know. But he does kind of explain that what the surroundings in the woods are, and like what these things are capable of. And basically, Donna does the same thing. Back at the colony house, Donna explains when she first arrived there with her sister, they weren't as lucky as the Matthews family because they arrived at night where they didn't have any of the local people to help them. And eventually her sister was killed and tortured, and basically, yeah,
Sounds
Donna,
like the most brutal death.
our face was ripped off and tortured the entire night. Donna had to run and hide
I
from
doubt
them.
she ran.
Yeah, she attempted to
And
run.
she says it was only 3 years ago.
That's how long she's been here, aye.
Aye, so she must put a bit of fucking weight on.
Yeah, so basically, like, we understand that the surrounding woods are full of intelligent, shape-shifting creatures that, like, hunt and kill for sport. So, you know, it's not like mindless zombies that just want to bite and, you know, eat flesh.
No.
I mean, these are creatures that, like, seem to enjoy killing and almost, like, get a kick out of it. And they can shapeshift. As we've seen in episode 1 when the creature was, like, pretending to be an old woman, or maybe she is an old woman, but she, like, transforms into something else with, like, crazy sharp teeth. So we're still unsure of what these creatures are, but we know they're not to be messed with and they're not good, and you certainly do not want to be outside without a talisman at night.
I would say this. What would happen if it's like one of these creatures against 50 people? I would be interested to see that.
Maybe they've got, like, superhuman strength.
I would say that. I mean, they rip people's... But when she opened that window that night, like, maybe more than one got in. We don't really know what happened. Like, the kid in episode 1. But I'd be interested to see what... Because I think eventually in this show, it's going to come to a point where there's going to be a confrontation. It can't all be hiding and running.
Do you think maybe they've got the ability to, like... well, they can shapeshift? Do you think maybe they've got the ability, like the T-1000? You can have a hold of them, and then they can just, like, transform and all of a sudden be out of your graps?
Maybe, aye.
Could it be something similar to that? We don't really know. Back in the RV, Jim is asking more about, like, how do you stay safe, and the talisman, and Boyd's explaining, look, we have these in the houses, that's what keep everyone safe. As long as we've never tried it on a vehicle, but we think it's going to be okay as long as we keep this, and we don't let them in, then they can't get in. Which does make sense. Jim points out, they come back and they're, like, jumping on top of the RV, trying to get in. I think, not trying to get in, I think they're just trying to unsettle the people in the RV, hoping that maybe Jim tries to open the door, or maybe that Christy tries to freak out and, I don't know, makes a mistake, tries to escape. Because Boyd looks like the only one that's got his shit together, really. Out of the people in the RV.
And I think that's to be expected, though.
He's
the sheriff.
In the colony house, I mean, Donna seems to be probably the toughest one in there, like, in terms of not breaking and mentally being able to handle the situation.
I could still hear us.
But she is the leader of the colony house, so that's her kind of patch. Well, you do learn that the town is, like, separated into two parts. Then we just basically keep working on Ethan. We then get Jim asks Boyd, why don't you just use your gun? And Boyd's like, your gun doesn't really work on them, which we seen earlier when Kenny shot them. I mean, it literally almost, like, slowed them down, but it didn't do anything. It certainly wouldn't stop them or kill them or, you know, halt them in their tracks. Literally, a gun might buy you time, but it's not going to save your life.
Yeah, no, exactly. You're exactly right. So, guns, maybe the only way to defeat them if you're in the same room as one of those talismen, and you whip out and they get startled.
Maybe does the talisman kind of work, like, across with vampires?
Garlic.
Who knows? We then get introduced to more characters in the colony house. We get introduced more to Ellis's girlfriend, whose name is totally... It's like passing me at the moment.
It's like Jimitsma or something. It's something like that.
It is something like that, but I actually cannot remember, but we'll come back to that at a later date. For some reason, our name is completely passing me. We get introduced to, I think, Judy, and she's trying to steal Jade's watch, and this is weird because she's, like, saying, oh, he's so pretty, and, like, she wants to touch him, and she's like, Ellis, like, look, leave him alone, that watch isn't going to do you any good either. And it's like, okay, I'll just sit here and look over him and look how pretty he is. I feel like if this was the opposite way about, I feel like if a man was doing this to a woman,
yep,
it would be, like, really fucking creepy, and, you know,
it would absolutely be.
What you doing, you fucking weirdo? But I guess, because it's the other way about, it is perfectly okay. We then get introduced to Victor, who wants to come and get some peaches.
It's creepy.
Julie is tied up in the kitchen at this stage, and I don't think Julie likes Victor.
Nope. No, I mean, if anyone else tied their seat and this guy approached you talking about peaches, you'd be creeped out. Within reason. Definitely within reason.
Yeah, I mean, he does look a little bit weird, this Victor
Like,
guy.
that person, I don't know who it is, can say he's harmless, but come on.
But he did. At least he offered to share his peaches.
Just a weird bastard. I wouldn't have been eating his any peaches, man.
Well, he did. He did offer.
He liked painting, though. He was drawing me pictures.
Yeah, so I mean, who knows?
Is he the OG of this world? Sounds it.
Could be. Looks like he's been here a long time. Fatima then walks in and basically kind of scares Victor away. She's like he's a cat or something. He's like, shh, shh, leave her alone, leave the poor girl alone. She then tells Julie that Victor's harmless, he's just a little bit creepy, which I guess maybe is true. And then she says she's going to be Julie's sponsor. Julie asks what a sponsor is, and she goes, basically, I'm just going to be the one that shows you around and gets you...
It was proxy. It wasn't a sponsor, it was proxy.
Proxy sponsor, same thing.
A proxy fool, he's a yay.
So that happens, and she shows her around the colony. Then we get Kenny arguing with Ellis. Kenny doesn't really like the way the colony people treated them when they got here. He thought it was, unfair and it wasn't necessary. But then Ellis like, well, maybe if you didn't leave the spike traps down on the road, then we wouldn't have had to come here. Kenny doesn't like this. Kenny jumps up and looks like him and Ellis are maybe ready to punch, but we've got Father there. Father Cattry's there, and he makes sure nothing happens.
The priest, how did he get there?
Well, he was always there talking to Kenny.
No, I meant like in this world.
Alright, fair enough.
He was chasing after a school bus. And
I'm not too...
I ended up three-block the path.
Not too sure. Then Ellis offers Kenny like some moonshine or something, I don't know, some sort of alcoholic beverage as a peace offering. He doesn't take it. Kenny then confides in Father Cattry about his father and that he hopes Boyd's okay and that he hopes... Kenny then seems worried, but Father Cattry tells him it's going to be okay. Boyd and Christy and the others in the RV will be fine. Then Kenny talks about his father with Cattry and how he worries about his dementia and how it's a problem. But Father Cattry knows that, Kenny's a good son and he's going to look after his father. They talk about all the chess that they used to play and how he hated it, but it became something that him and his father got really close over. And now it seems to be all that they have got now that dementia has kind of kicked in. And, his father kind of doesn't really know
he's playing checkers.
Yeah, where he's at. Now, we did mention earlier that Lou is playing checkers and the monsters are playing chess. We go back to not the hospital, the clinic. Let's call it a clinic.
The doctors.
The clinic, yeah.
The nursing station.
So we see that he is down. He gets taken to the basement. And, the nurse that's with him is like, okay, this is time for you to go to bed. They were also playing chess. She lost him at chess. She goes, I'm not very good. He goes, no, you good. Me just better.
Better.
So he's better at chess. Then he says, I'd like the dark. Nightmare. And she's like, it's okay. You're going to be all right. Go to sleep. And then she puts him to sleep. Back up on the top floor of the clinic, though, we see Sarah. Toby's dead body still there with the screwdriver plunged into his neck. Lots of blood. She then is, revealed to be talking. I don't know if she's talking to voices or the voices are talking to her. Or it's a bit of both.
I think she's fucking mentally ill.
But yeah, she looks crazy and she's like, I didn't want to do it. And then there's, voices talking to her. And then she's like, are you sure? Do I need to do this? Really? And then she's like, how much of it? And it's like she's talking and listening at the same time, but I guess it's voices in her head because there's no one talking to her. We don't see any ghosts. We don't see any people. It's literally just her having conversations with herself. And then she goes up and tells Toby that she's sorry and decides to cut out his tongue. And then after more talking, we see her leave. And then the nurse comes up that was looking after Lou. She makes it up to the top floor and she sees that Toby is laying there dead, tongue cut out, in a pile of blood. It's not looking good for him. He's dead. She then turns around and she drops all her stuff. She drops her plate, she drops her trays because she notices the front door is open and that the monsters are there in the front door and that they are getting in to the clinic. So we then see her run down the stairs. She gets into the basement and locks the door behind her and she's in the room with Lou Sr. However, they're already in the building. The talisman has not kept them out. So what's going to happen? Will they be safe or will they not? We'll find out towards the end of the episode. We then go back to the RV and it looks like Ethan is stable now. The table leg's been pulled out of him.
I think they should have covered his mouth.
Maybe, yeah, he was screaming a lot, but again, with the fact they kind of know they're in the RV, I just don't think they can get in the RV, so I don't think it really matters how much noise you make.
True.
But then we see Christy checking on him, and then she turns round to Jim, and Jim lifts the talisman off the. What
does this thing do?
It's like tied up, and he lifts it off, and he's like, "So how does this work?" And then we see Chris like, "Oh no," and Jim's like, and then Boyd's like, "Oh Jim, no!" And then we see like one of the monsters come through the roof of the RV and just like dive straight onto Ethan, but then Christy just boom wakes up, and it turns out it was a dream. She looks around, and the talisman's still in the door. Boyd tells her that it's okay, they made it, it's morning, and that everyone is going to be okay. We then get the car pulling up, and it's the rest of the Matthews family alongside Fowler Cattray and Kenny, and it looks like everyone made it safe. Everyone survived the night, or so we think.
Because guess what? Nobody can be safe in this world. Lou, he was playing chess. He fought the whole time. Turns out he's playing checkers.
So the car arrives back into the town, and Kenny notices that the door to the clinic is wide open. He runs down, and we see the nurse that was looking after his father. She's like just literally laying on the floor,
gutless.
Just
I actually thought these two were still going to be alive.
Just completely torn apart. He's then going to go into the basement room where his father is, but Fowler Cattray says, "No, Kenny, you don't have to do this anymore," because earlier Kenny was telling Fowler Cattray that he can't do it, he can't see any more dead bodies, he can't be the one. I feel like it's always Kenny and Boyd that have to be the ones that
deal with it.
Yeah, so he's like, "I can't do this anymore." Fowler Cattray says, "It's okay, Kenny, I'll go first." But then Fowler Cattray kind of just goes to the end of the line. It was like...
And he's third in. Uno reversed.
Yeah, Uno reversed. They said he was going to go in first, so Kenny didn't need to be first to see it, but then he ended up going in last, and they go in...
But see, in this situation, right, Kenny's not going to turn around like in dialogue and be like, well, you go in first then. It's more of a, you do it, rather than... He gives you the permission to do it.
Yeah.
He didn't.
So then we see him go in. His father's just laying there again, gutless, torn apart.
Legs.
Yeah, not much left of him apart from like upper torso. And then Kenny just hugs his father, confides in his father.
Well, whatever, he doesn't confide in.
He just hugs him tight and cries. I don't know. I felt bad for Kenny here. I know we've only known him 2 episodes, but
I'm surprised this happened in episode 2. I feel like they might have.
I mean, you walk in and you do feel bad for Kenny, and then we arrive at the scene from like the beginning of the episode where we see him cutting trees. He's still cutting down trees. He's chopping trees. He's got blood all over his face. Boyd approaches him. He's like, "What you doing out here?" Kenny then tells him that he needs more wood for the chessboards because the chess is now stained in blood. Obviously, due to the fact that, you know, it's probably the blood of his father that was everywhere.
Exactly.
Boyd is then trying to comfort Kenny, but Kenny reveals to Boyd that when he used to play his father at chess, his father would always get him down to one piece, and that Kenny would only have one piece remaining on the board, and he would have to always circle around in the same three spaces on the board. Then Kenny reveals how he's noticed that the monsters never run. Boyd's like, "Yeah, I've noticed that." And then he compares it to chess. He says it's almost like they know that sooner or later we're going to run out of places to hide, just like he would run out of places to hide with his last piece of the chessboard when playing his father. I thought that was, I liked that. I thought it was a pretty nice tie-in. Good
Is he suggesting that eventually they'll all die? Or what's going on?
Well, yeah, pretty much Kenny thinks that like we're not going to survive this. We can run, we can hide, but the reason these monsters, they never run, they always walk, because they know that they've got us cornered, they know they've got us beaten, they know that sooner or later it's going to be checkmate.
Checkmate!
For then we go to like some sort, I don't know if this is the colony house, or if it's just like some sort of place, I don't know, medical place, but we see, I think it's the colony house, where we see Ethan, he's recovering on the bed with his sister. His sister is trying to cheer him up. She's using the two wee finger puppets that she killed Norman. She killed him in episode 1, but Norman's back alive, but Ethan doesn't really seem too interested. He doesn't really care about Norman. And then he looks at the window, and we see this boy in white who looks like a ghostly figure, and he continues to look at this boy in white, and the boy in white puts his finger up to his lips and tells him to shh. And that is how the episode goes off the air, with Ethan seeing a figure. He also spoke when he woke up about pictures. And he's seen drawings and
that's
stuff.
What the creepy guy said.
And that's what the creepy guy is doing. Victor, we look in his room and he's got a shitload of drawings, childlike drawings. And he also drew a picture of the car crash between the RV and the car. So yeah, maybe this Victor guy's got the mentality of a child. Who knows? But that was the end of the episode, guys.
Maybe he likes children.
Oh, I wouldn't go that far.
I would.
I think he likes peaches.
Aye, peaches and children.
Right, okay, that's it. End of the episode.
I'm gonna give this episode an 8.
I'm gonna get a 7. I liked it. Didn't think it was as good as the premiere, but I thought it done a good job of following up, and it's definitely a strong start, I think, to a new show. So
damn right.
Interested to see
the next one.
What happens in the next one. And already we've had 3, I would say, argue 3 pretty big deaths. Well, 5. We count the family at the beginning.
Absolutely.
But yeah, we had a death in every episode so far.
Multiple deaths.
The tally is at 5. Will we add any more in episode 3?
Probably.
We'll find out, guys. But we're going to rate this a 7.5 out of 10. We'll catch you in the next one. This has been Fog Entertainment. More Fairy Fids to come. Stay tuned to the channel, and we will see you next time out. Till then, though, peace. It's choosing day for the new town residents, but it's also box day for Frank. And box day is never a good day. Welcome back, guys, to Fog Entertainment. We are here to review episode 3 of From season 1, and it is called Choosing Day. So today is the day the new people in town will choose their forever home. So we start the episode with Frank. We didn't see him in episode 2, but we see him now in episode 3. He has been locked up by Sheriff Boyd, and he is awaiting his punishment. What his punishment is, we don't know yet, but Frank, I don't think he's really caring about punishment right now. He knows that him being foolish and that his complacency basically got his family killed. So at the moment, I don't know if punishing Frank's really going to do any good. He's just sitting there, locked away, rotting away, feeling pretty depressed, and you don't blame him.
I don't blame him either. Boyd did look out his window though, and we did see the box, so it kind of was like, what's that all about? It was a nice wee way to kick off the episode.
And he also brings out keys, which I believe is for the door of the box. It's like a boat key.
Yeah, I think it's like a boat trailer that it's actually based in. And obviously the key must work for that. But maybe if you thought at the end of the last episode, does Boyd have an escape plan here on a boat?
Maybe. Where's the boat? Damn it, let's get to the boat. We then go to Colony House, and Jade is now conscious. He's screaming. He's still tied up to the bed from the previous night. And then Donna comes in and is shouting at him, basically tells him to shut the fuck up. But Jade's not happy about this. He says, untie me now, or I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that. But then Donna's like, what are you gonna do? And Jade at this point realizes that he ain't gonna do nothing because he's tied to this bed, so all his threats are kind of empty at this moment in time. However, after he is freed, it's explained to him the situation that he is in. However, Jade does not buy it at all. He starts laughing. He looks at Donna. He looks at Ellis, and he believes that this is some sort of escape room that Toby has had planned for him, and he can't believe the amount of effort everybody's going into, and the size and the fact that this escape room is the entire town. And he basically goes a little bit crazy. He's like, oh, Toby, you're a genius. And we then see him steal some fat woman's bike as he cycles into town. And basically the whole episode, he is pretty much annoying all the town residents. He goes to the diner. He cuts the line in the diner before getting slapped over the back of the head. And the guy's just loving life here. He thinks this is one big game, and obviously did not listen to Donna. We then get Fowler Catry. He introduces himself to Jim and Tabitha. Now, I think they already met him before, but he gets a proper introduction, and he tells them that today will be choosing day, and they leave Julie to look after Ethan as they go and look at the new houses in the town. So Fowler Catry takes them to the house where Megan was killed, and it's kind of weird. You would have thought maybe they'd cleaned up a little bit. Maybe they haven't had time. I suppose that did happen on the same day
as the premiere, but if you look at it, I mean, the blood, the iron, it would be absolutely disgusting. Not exactly ideal. living situation, especially a kid getting killed in that room, and you want to put a kid in the same house.
Yeah, it's not really an appealing option. Katri then points out what happened, and when Jim notices the box, Katri tells Jim that the box is the town's form of punishment, where a culprit is confined overnight and left exposed to the monsters. Jim says he put a talisman in with him though, and Father Katri just shakes his head and is like, no, we do not.
Absolute death sentence.
That's pretty much what this is. I mean, it is like the death penalty, basically.
I don't see how you can survive this. Well, you can't.
You're locked in the box, you've got nowhere to go, and you literally, we'll find out at the end of the episode. Now, we do see, like, there's some friction. I think Julie is, like, not happy with her family. She just acted up. I mean, you think of everything that's happening right now, and she's, like, having a hissy fit that her family are wanting her to look after her brother. Shouldn't they just be lucky and grateful to be alive at this stage? But it seems like Julie's going to play the annoying teenager, or the annoying child that just has to be annoying.
Yeah, I hate roles like this. It kind of happens in every TV show, doesn't it? With families, and I'm not a fan of it, but I see it has to be done.
But we see that her and Fatima are becoming pretty close, even though I would say there's a decent age gap between the two.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, you can see that they are...
even the way she was putting her arm around her, it's like, what is this? You just know this person all of a day.
Yeah, and like earlier she says that Ellis would love to draw you because you're beautiful, and it's like, I don't know, to me that was a little bit weird.
Bit fucking nonsense if you ask me.
Because Ellis is drawing Fatima because that's his girlfriend, like...
Yeah, now he's drawing, what, a 16-year-old, 15-year-old?
And like, I'm not saying she was naked, like, but when Ellis was drawing her for the first time, she kind of, like, had, like, a revealing kind of top on that was, like, open and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So, I'm not too sure why Fatima is wanting Julie to get drawn by her boyfriend or whatever. But a little bit weird, and that's probably...
I think it's just grooming her to stay at the colony house, that's what I think it is.
Could be the colony house there.
The colony house grooming show.
I do feel like that. You definitely feel like if you had to split the colony house and the town, it's like the town is, like, more conservative. And the colony house is like liberal.
It's like Chicago, Portland. That's what the colony house is.
Yeah. We see Kenny tries to comfort his mother over the death of their father, but she continues to open up as normal. Sarah goes into work as normal. She works at the diner, even though she is responsible for killing Kenny. She goes into work because I believe she thinks that she has to. Or else. She also reveals to her brother Nathan that she left the door open, which is a pretty big reveal here. Now Nathan's like I'll sort this out, but yeah, what can he sort out really? You know, she's literally just...
Maybe she's going in the box.
She is literally just...
Imagine having to work in this world. What's going on?
Yeah, she's literally just, got a bunch of people killed though, but she turns up for her day at work. We then see Frank and Boyd. Boyd's like, is there anything you need, Frank? Then let me know. Frank wants to go out to the woods. There was like a reserved spot where he used to take his daughter, and he built like a climbing tree, and he says that this is where he would take his daughter. His wife was always scared that he would like push the swing too hard, and basically Frank's just sitting there, trying to remember better days. Then we go back into the town, and we see Jade. He's like still snooping around. He still thinks this is some sort of game. He still thinks this is some sort of escape room, and he like goes into this like underground passage. I think it was maybe like a basement kind of thing. I don't know what, like a cellar, like
maybe like a tunnel system. I don't know.
It's hard to describe what it is, but inside he has like a vision that he sees like a dead body, although it's not actually there. And then when he falls on his back, he notices a symbol on the roof that kind of freaks him out, and then all of a sudden he makes his escape. Then we go back to Frank and Boyd basically can't do it. Earlier we seen Boyd speak with Father Katri, and Boyd was basically wanting Father Katri to give him any reason not to put Frank in the box, but Father Katri was like, look Boyd, you created that death trap to punish people. Once people know that you're not willing to use it, then you lose control of the town. Which is true. I agree with what Father Cartry is saying here, but Boyd, this is not the answer Boyd was looking for. And then Boyd turns around and says to Father Cartry, "You're a shit fucking priest, you know that?" Which,
yeah, he's as a priest though, he's supposed to gloss it up for him as they actually want the truth. The priests have to tell the truth.
Yeah, I mean, that's what Boyd went there for, the truth. Boyd went there for answers, and Father Cartry gave him those answers. It wasn't the answers that Boyd wanted. I think Boyd was hoping that Father Cartry would come up with some sort of compromise that still involved punishing Frank, but not sending him to the box. But Father Cartry was like, "Look, you've created this guillotine. You have to use it, or else it will mean absolutely nothing." So with that, Boyd goes back to meet Frank, but he just can't do it. He tells Frank, "Look, I'm giving you a chance here. There's a place out in the woods." He gives him a talisman, and he's like, "You go there, you try and make a life for yourself, and you never come back." So Boyd, I guess, is he going to come up with some sort of excuse, some sort of fake story that maybe Frank managed to escape?
Like, say he goes out to the woods, Frank. I mean, what is there for him to do?
Yeah, it's not much of a life. I mean, if Frank takes Boyd up on this offer, I mean, what is he going to do? Live the rest of his life?
For food?
Well, maybe he can find stuff out there, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know, grow your... Well, but the point is, I mean, it'd be a very fucking lonely existence.
Yeah. No, because I think he would just be getting hunted his entire life.
Yeah, what we do is like a hut. Is he going to stay in a hut every single night, and then what, during the day go out and pick flowers or something in the woods? So yeah, but I mean, at least Boyd gave him that option. We then go to the area where they're choosing. Boyd announces that it's choosing day, and he tells them that this is how they do things here. You pick your forever home. There's like a rock, and there's like two rocks. One's got like a flower symbol, the other one's got something else, and whatever one you pick, that is where you will stay. Before anyone can pick their new home though, Frank reappears with the talisman, and he tells Boyd in front of everybody, "Look, I messed up. I need to face the consequences. I need to be punished. My family are dead because of me." And then he goes on to tell everyone how he wasn't always like this. He used to be a good father, but he let this place get the better of him, and that is what basically transitioned him into this kind of waster, drunk, you know, the man that let his family down. Now, by no means do I think Frank is like a bad person. He just, you know, he got drunk. I guess he didn't follow the rules, and it's just like incompetent, really, rather than being a bad father. Although you could argue in a situation like this, incompetent kills.
And he has thrown Boyd under the bus here, I think.
Yeah,
Boyd let him go, and then he's come back and went, "Well, you know what, Boyd, see that plan? It's not for me, buddy."
So yeah, this kind of look. Now maybe we're making too much of it, but it kind of did make Boyd look a little bit. It made him look small. You know, it made him look weak in front of the rest of the townfolk, because
indecisive.
It was almost like Boyd was allowing Frank a chance to escape with a talisman and you know, not be punished. So then when Frank gives him the talisman, we see Jade, and Jade starts like laughing and clapping. He's like, "Oh, don't go, Frank," and he's mocking Frank, who's just came and really gave this, you know, deep emotional speech about how he's let his family down, and that now he needs to be punished and do the right thing here. And this infuriates Boyd, Sheriff Boyd. He's not having it. He goes and grabs Jade, twists his arm, and throws him against the rocks. And he's like, "Pick one." Jade just lifts whatever one is closest to him. Then Boyd's like, "Yeah, that's it, right, you're staying in town," and then throws him away. Jade said he's going to sue Boyd. This isn't part of the game. He's like, "I'm going to get you fired. Do you know who you're messing with?" Kenny then comes and takes Jade along with him. He's like, "I need to show you something." And then he shows him a grave that Kenny has been digging all day. And it's Toby that is staring up at Jade from the grave. So at this point, Jade sort of realizes, look, this isn't a game. Toby's dead. He didn't plan this, and you know, we are in deep, deep trouble. Then we go back to the area where they're choosing the houses. Jim's like, "Okay, well, my family, we're all going to pick the town." However, Boyd says it doesn't work that way. You have to all pick individually. So Jim picks, Tabitha picks, Ethan picks, but then of course we get to the last pick. Julie's last, and she picks Colony House.
See, as soon as Boyd said this, so I knew she was going to pick Colony House. I thought it was a bit predictable, but then again, I only had 5 seconds to realise, so...
Jim and Tabitha obviously are not happy. He's like, no, Julie, what you doing? You can't do this. Donna's like, well, she's made her choice. That's it.
Boyd's like, no! We need
Boyd's like, wait.
Stop the count!
And Donna's like, no, Boyd, you know how this goes. When you pick, it's final. And at this point, Tabitha's like, okay, alright, we change our mind. We pick Colony House. But Donna's not having it. Donna's like, nope, she's made her choice. Everything is done here. And Boyd's like, hey, come on, let's think about this. Let's talk about it. But no one wants to talk about it. Donna here, for the first time in the show, I guess she is kind of like the leader of the Colony House. And she basically told Boyd here, look, you might be the sheriff, but when it comes to this, you don't make the rules. There seems to be clear rules in place here. And once you pick somewhere, that is it.
That must be what Ellis done. Ellis must have picked Colony House over Town, and that's why there's a wee bit of friction between him and Daddy.
Obviously, Jim, his wife ain't happy. Boyd says, look, we'll talk about this tomorrow. We'll sort it out. And everyone then goes back to their respective place, whether it be town, whether it be Colony House.
And Jim has to board up his windows. He doesn't have long left. Tell you what, it was dark, so they left it late here to board up some windows.
Yeah, they move in. Then Frank is put in the box by Boyd, and Frank says, will you bury me beside my family? Boyd goes, of course. The rest of the town folk then surround the box and just kind of like watch as Frank's put into the box, and they watch as the door to the box is closed, and then they'll just like walk away and leave him.
Yeah.
Very eerie feeling here.
Yeah, it kind of felt like...
Father Caffrey's like the last to go, but he wasn't even like... He didn't even really say a prayer for Frank. He kind of just looked at him and went...
I think Big Father, whatever his name is a weird character.
Then up at the Colony House, we see Donna welcoming him in Julie, and it looks like they're having like a party celebration, and it just kind of seems wrong. And I know they're welcoming... I know they're, bringing in a new member and all that stuff to their home, but it's like... literally, a guy is going to get ripped apart that night. They're all in the same boat. They're all in the same situation. You'd feel like they'd have a little bit more, like sympathy or remorse, or
I guess maybe I think most of them are just accustomed to this though. And Frank jobbed it. I'm afraid so.
So yeah, we see the Colony House celebrate. Everyone goes back to their house in the town, and then Frank is left alone in the box. And we see the monsters closing in on him. They're surrounding him, and they take their time. It's like they're like they surround the box, and like they do circles around the box. But finally, as Frank lays down, and I guess I don't know what he's going to do next, but he doesn't have a chance to do anything next because
he does a Mick Foley.
The monsters break through the box, completely destroying it. They grab Frank, and then the camera fades to black, and I think it is fair to say at this point Frank is dead. And that is the end of the episode, guys. So there you go, Tuesday day, when the new residents chose their home, and we say goodbye to Frank. Overall, what's your thoughts, and do you have a rating for episode 3, Tuesday day?
I wish the Jade storyline could have actually lasted longer, but I guess he had to find out.
I enjoyed the Jade scenes. I thought they were pretty funny.
Yeah, I think he had to find out before night, but I feel like now that the fact that family's moved out of the Colony House, you've no one really in the Colony House that I would actually like. So I feel like it's going to be a proper divide of what I'm like, guys, it's all about the town. Colony House sucks. You see where I'm coming from with that?
I get that, yeah.
We did have what's the wee kid called? He did tell, what's the creepy guy?
Ethan. Well, yeah, we did see Ethan and Victor communicate. Victor was outside. Ethan was trying to talk to him, and Ethan wanted to be friends, I guess, but Victor says, go away, because you'll get me in trouble. And then eventually Victor opened up to Ethan once he opened up to the little boy. And once he talked about the boy in white. So I'm assuming Victor sees the boy in white too. There could be some sort of connection there.
And then touches the boy in white.
Victor reveals that he is trying to measure the distance between the house and the forest, because he believes things are moving. So yeah, that is it. We'll find out what happens with Victor in episode 4. But again, back to the rating time. What are you giving Tuesday day?
I'll give it a 7.
I'm giving it a 7 as well.
That's intriguing though that he's met. Does he feel like the forest is getting closer then?
He thinks it's closing in.
and soon there'll be no escape. It'll eventually go through the house.
Possibly.
Damn, that's no
Possibly.
good. You need to fucking start moving your houses.
Yeah, we need to
Centre of the fucking town then.
We do.
Well, Colony House is going. I'm predicting it then.
Colony House.
Season 1 finale, Colony House won't be fucking there.
Boom. I'll give it a 7 as well, guys. 7 out of 10. That is it. Make sure you check out the Theory Feds on From. And of course, if you're into any other content on the channel, we've got lots of Mayan stuff, lots of Sons of Anarchy stuff. There's movie reviews. There's a little bit of everything here on Fog Entertainment. So leave a like, leave a comment, make sure you subscribe, and we will catch you in the next one. But until then, peace. We find out Victor has got a loaded packed lunch, but it's no packing sandwiches. He's got a firearm in that lunchbox. Welcome back, guys, to Fog Entertainment, here to review Season 1, Episode 4 of From. And this one is called A Rock and a Far Way. I guess that's a take on the rock going into the far way tree.
Ah, it must be. And I tell you what, not surprising, in America, somebody's packing a gun in their lunchbox, is it?
I mean, where are they not packing guns in America?
Exactly. In the faraway tree, maybe?
Legit got these things everywhere. Anyway, we start the beginning of the episode with a flashback, and we see a weird looking kid who straight away we just recognise it's Victor.
Yep, you can just tell it.
It's Victor, damn it.
What's Victor doing in the impact zone?
We see Victor as a small child, and he is like surrounded by corpses. Literally, it looks like everybody in the town has died. There's just bodies everywhere. They've been massacred. We see the boy in white, and the boy in white is like appearing to be friendly with Victor. He wants to call him over to play on a roundabout, but Victor, with his little lunchbox and surrounded by dead bodies, seems hesitant to go near the boy
I don't blame
in white. We go back to the present, and then we see Ethan. He's matching the boy in white that he saw to the drawing made by Victor. So I think it's fair to say that both Victor and both Ethan have seen the same guy here. They've seen the same boy in white. And what does that mean?
Who knows what it means, but was that the last time Victor saw him? About 50 years ago?
Now, we don't know, but the thing is, does that mean only children can see this boy in white? Because Victor says he hasn't seen him, and Victor passes a message on to Ethan to tell him hi.
Yeah, because it seems like not many other kids have been here, maybe.
I wonder when was the last the last time Victor seen this boy in white, and does this boy in white mean anything? Then Kenny is basically still trying to explain things to Jade. We've seen at the end of the last episode, Jade finally came to acknowledge that, holy crap, this is not an escape room, this is not fun and games, this is real, it's too damn real. He's showing him kind of that there's no fixed physical location, which I thought is interesting. So this seems to be just like, it's like a, how would you even describe this town?
Reality.
Yeah, it's like it doesn't, I mean, they've got like the map up, they pinpointed the location that everyone from the town is from, like their hometown, and it's like the entire America is pinpointed on the map. So it's people coming from all these different states, yet no matter where they were going, no matter what their destination was, they've all ended up in this
But
town.
see, I like stuff like this to try and figure it out, but I feel like Kenny's almost like really
defeat it, and he's like,
yeah, he's like, I don't even want to bother figuring this out. You can understand why someone would want to figure this out.
yeah, Jade doesn't think it's possible. There'd be no fixed physical location. He's like, no fucking way. But I mean, when you factor everything else that's happening, is it really that far-fetched?
No, I don't know where Kenny's, like, how long he's been there, whatever, a few years, but you'd think that maybe these people would come together rather than sitting in a fucking diner eating shite and be like, right, we need to figure out an escape plan if there is.
Well, that's what Jade kind of does. He says, like, I'm not like you people. I'm going to figure a way out of here. I'm not just going to sit here and accept this. We then hear a
but Kenny can say here, well, that's what's going to drive you insane. But what, just sitting here, living while the forest fucking gets 4 inches closer per night?
Yeah.
Well, is that the way I live?
Well, we don't know that yet about the forest, but we do find that out later in the episode. But the radio emits static, and Kenny's like, don't worry about it, that happens. But Jade thinks that means something, and he is instantly intrigued. by the static. I mean, which he would be, because I guess it would maybe suggest some sort of connection to the outside world of the town. Jade then just grabs the radio and basically fucks off and leaves Kenny sitting in the sheriff station.
Correct.
We then see Boyd, and he is basically getting rid of the remains of
Frank is mangled. Frank Footer.
Frank, who was left in the box, not in a good place here, not in a good situation.
Blood all over him.
Yeah, he gets put into a wheelbarrow, and it's like just what a way to go. I mean, well, he's already gone, I guess, but I mean, you know, the guy is literally.
This was quite a funny scene, though. You've got Jim and Ethan walking to the diner.
Yeah, going for pancakes.
He's like,
what do you need? What do you got in there? And it's like, just supplies, buddy.
Taking it to the church.
But yeah, no, Frank's basically getting transported to his burial point in a bloody wheelbarrow.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah, so I mean, not good.
Well, so he's transporting him.
Yeah.
A jar.
We see Frank obviously reaches the destination where Boyd is pushing him to, and Boyd tells Father Cartry that he wants him to bury Frank, make sure he's buried beside his family. Father Cartry says, will you be attending the service? But Boyd kind of laughs. No way. I think Boyd feels guilty. You know, he is essentially the one that, you know, killed this man, maybe. And Boyd then tells Father Cartry, are you going to mention the fact that you wanted to put him in the box in your little service?
Again, I can see why Boyd thinks like this, but it's just pain talking.
I mean, I think Father Cartry was kind of dead on, to be honest. You've never used the box. You've never really felt like you've needed to use the box. If you don't use it the first time, then people are just going to think, well, there's no consequences for breaking laws here.
Yeah, but also, like, you know, religious people, it doesn't really matter what the person's done or whatever. When they die, they make it their great. So it's not like Frank's going to get made out here. It's not like he's completely lying. This is what happens.
What?
I'm saying when people die, he's like, oh, you're just going to put on a wee fake persona if you didn't want him in the box. But that's just the way reality is. You see priests going to prisoners on their death row, they know what's going to happen. But that's just the way life is.
That's just the way it is. Then back in the diner, we've got Ethan eating his pancakes. Jim's like, you know, those pancakes are pretty good. But Ethan brings up Jim's dead son. So we've seen Jim and his wife talking about their child that they miscarried. This sets off Jim, and he goes to the toilets and he has a little cry. So obviously he's upset, and I guess that's why their marriage is on the rocks. I don't know if it was a miscarriage or whether the baby just died early, but yeah, they had a son that is no longer with them. Then we see Victor come in. Victor sits down beside Ethan, and he's like, did you meet the boy in white? He's talking about the boy in white. Then he reveals that he did indeed measure the trees, and that the trees have moved towards the house by 4 inches. So when is this from? Is this 4 inches overnight? Is this 4 inches within a week? It's kind of difficult.
Maybe it's whenever the boy in white shows up, that's when stuff moves.
It's difficult to, you know, try and put in context. Like, if 4 inches is a lot, if it's 4 inches over like the course of a year, then not so much. If it's 4 inches a night, then yeah, that is pretty big.
How does this work? Well, obviously, right, they live in there or whatever. That's where they are at night, but. Do they go through the houses? Do the trees, when they move, will they destroy the houses? Like, how does that work?
Maybe if the trees go through the houses and they morph into the house, then the talisman won't be effective because the woods, the forests become part of the house.
Maybe.
Possibly. And it looks like if that's the case, then the colony house is going to be affected first, because that appears to be closer to the woods than the town. So yeah, maybe you should be looking to put in a transfer. He then talks about the boy in white, but before anything else can happen, Jim comes out, and Jim basically pushes Victor around a little bit, and he's like, "Get you away from my son." And I do feel a bit bad for Victor here, because I mean he's kind of treated like some sort of pedo. He hasn't done anything.
And at this point, Jim's never met him before, hasn't he? Not.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
I mean, he might have seen him, like, but I don't think he's.
Although I can see why he's like, yeah, what's this fucking weird kid guy showing pictures of my son?
True. True. We also seen Victor in the colony house. I mean, earlier when he was like looking, I think he was like drawing a picture of Julie, and then when Julie woke up, he's kind of like drawing her, and our first reaction is to like pull herself away and cover herself up. So it's almost like they're treating like Victor as if he's some sort of I don't know, sexual predator, but he hasn't really shown that. I don't see why. He just seems like a bit of a weirdo, but he hasn't really gave me those sort of vibes, so I don't know why.
I can see why people would think he is, but yeah, he's too simple-minded. It's not going through his head that, here, anything I'm doing is weird here. Me sitting beside this 8-year-old's weird. Like, in my opinion, I think what Fatima's done is shown far more grooming than fucking...
Yeah, see, if Victor was doing what Fatima's done, then... has done, then you'd be saying, no, that's wrong, that's asking.
I keep pictures of you in my lunchbox.
I mean, Victor's drawing a picture, like, but it's clear that he's got, like, some sort of childlike mentality, whereas Fatima was saying, yeah, my boyfriend would love to draw pictures of you because you're beautiful, even though the pictures that he draws of her are, like, when she's kind of, like, a bit revealing and undressed, so, like, and I don't know, to me it was...
Pedos.
A bit strange there. We also, Julie finds out that people in the colony house kind of share everything, whether it comes to clothes, whether it comes to food, whether it comes to anything, and that they live...
It's just fucking communism.
Yeah, they live communally, so yeah, it's basically like the colony house is like a big big massive communist house, and Julie at first looks like she's kind of regretting the decision, especially after her shirt gets stolen, but she did borrow someone's pillow, so I guess it was a fair trade.
Pillow for a shirt.
Pillow for a shirt. Tabitha goes to visit her daughter, and when Julie is showing like a little bit of interest in coming to see her family, Tabitha's like, yeah, you can move in, you know, it's okay. Then Julie angrily reacts, saying that I never said I made a mistake by choosing this place, and they just argue, and Julie confronts her about knowing that her parents were going to get a divorce, and
it was one last hurrah,
and that they lost they may have lost a kid, but they still have two more, which I think they obviously know. I don't really get.
I didn't understand this outburst. Like, here you lied to us, you did this whole trip just so you could have one nice big family last ride in the sunshine together, and here we are.
Yeah, Julie obviously does kind of think like your typical teenager, like. So,
yeah, literally.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not saying it's awful, but it's like every show that does this, they do it exactly the same. Why can't there be a teenager that's like, here, they're smart for beyond their years?
I'll say, to be honest though, I could watch TV shows that didn't have any kids at all. It's very rare, in my opinion, that children actually add value to a TV series.
No, you're right. You're God. If anything, there's just hindrances.
Yeah, it's like, I don't know, even like with Ethan and the boy in white, it's like that stuff doesn't really interest me. I'm just not really, I don't know, seeing children in TV shows, to me it always kind of like weakens things.
Yep.
It's acting at the end of the day, you know. I just think adults are better than it, like, you know, you can relate to adults more, I mean, but that's my opinion, whatever. We then see Julie and Jim, they're arguing again over the divorce and the death of their baby, and this allows Victor to knock on the window of their home, and he takes Ethan away to search for the boy in white, and he throws away his crutch. He's like, nah, you don't need this, you need this, and he gives him the big stick, which sounds a little bit Predator, but he doesn't give him that stick. He gives him like a walking stick, and he's like, here son, you need this, and they go on a quest, as Ethan likes to put it. Then Jim and Tabitha realise that, oh my god, Ethan's gone, where did he go? And they go on to search for Ethan. Meanwhile, Ethan and Victor are in the woods. Victor shows him the faraway tree. He drops a rock in there, and then the rock kind of like randomly falls out the sky. Victor explains that you can jump in these trees, and they basically get you away from your current location, but the only problem is you never know where you're going to end up. You could end up like 10 meters away from the tree, or you could end up somewhere in the middle of the forest.
But see, that's the thing, like, if you're going to fall through the sky, is it really safe?
Well, I don't know. But we don't really know we don't know how far the rock's fallen, if you know what I mean.
True, but
The Rock's just landed. We haven't seen how high it fell from. The Rock could have literally fell from like 4 feet. Do you know what I mean?
I don't know. Victor's probably jumped in it before, no?
Well, he has. He says that he used this to survive. Pretty sure that's what he said.
He
No.
just kept on spamming this. He kept jumping in it.
Yeah, so that's Victor's big escape plan. We then see Jim and his wife looking for Ethan. They get approached by dogs, and before the dogs can do anything, Jim takes a gun out his packed lunchbox. He's packed and he's loaded with a gun. I mean, I didn't see this coming. I thought he had sandwiches. Maybe some like kids treats or something like that. Maybe a Cadbury Sun. I wasn't expecting him to pull out a gun. Petty Faloo, but no, he pulls out a gun, shoots it in the air. The dogs run off, and like I didn't even know there was dogs.
Animals? There's been no animals.
We haven't seen any animals apart from maybe there is animals with Nathan. I think is like the farmer boy. So I'm assuming maybe there's animals locked up in a barn somewhere with a talisman that we haven't seen yet. But these appear to be
So they kill animals?
Well, I don't know, but these appear to be wild dogs.
But how would the dogs not get caught?
That's what I'm thinking. Why is there dogs here, and how do these dogs survive at night? That's a question that we need to answer. But Jim, he's not really happy.
Maybe these dogs are the demons undercover.
Maybe.
That's how they would move during the day.
Maybe that's what they do. So Jim, instead of being grateful for Victor, he is angry, and it looks like he's going to do him some serious harm. He's like, I warned you to stay away from my son. But Victor's like, I don't want any trouble, stay away from me, and he's got a gun. So Jim has to retreat. Jim then goes to speak to Boyd later, and he's like, look, the whole Victor thing, and Boyd's like, yo, Victor, he's not one of mine. You have to speak with Donna.
He had a fucking gun in his lunchbox.
He's like, I don't care about how things work, Boyd. He's speaking to my son, and then he reveals the gun. And Boyd's like, look, okay, I will try and, do something about it. Boyd says, look, since you've turned up, things have went pretty crazy here. Normally I like to get to know the new people. Why don't we have dinner? And Jim accepts his offer for dinner. We also have Father Catry. He comes back with the wheelbarrow that he is finished, I guess, taking Frank out of. And Father Catry basically hits Boyd with some home truths here. Says that, look, we need you. You're doing the best that you can for this community. You're our best hope at getting home, and you can't keep blaming yourself for what happened to your wife. He doesn't mention wife, but he mentions her, so I think it's fair to assume that he is talking about his wife. And Boyd's not happy about this. Like, you're going too far. But Father Catry's like, look, he doesn't care. Someone needs to be here. Someone needs to tell Boyd that he's needed in this community, and that he is basically the saviour of this community, and that he is the one that keeps everybody in high hopes, and he is that keeps everybody alive.
You were fun at the talisman.
Yeah, before Boyd got here, people were dying every night. So
I'd love to know, right, how Victor survived so long without a talisman.
The faraway tree. So Boyd takes us in here.
In his fucking lunchbox.
And I thought this was, I think this was possibly the best scene of the episode.
When Boyd starts screaming?
No, when Father Catry and Boyd are having this conversation.
Oh, bro, I thought when he started screaming was funny.
No, it was funny.
Beard.
So, yeah, no.
It was almost like he plucked his beard and it hurt, so he just started screaming.
I enjoyed this, and Father Catry, just letting Boyd know that, look, you need to be strong. We need you to be strong. You can't, you can't blame yourself for anything that has happened. We then see Boyd, getting ready for the dinner, and he kind of just looks in the mirror and lets out a big massive fucking scream, like a random big scream, and then the next scene starts where he's sitting down having dinner with Jim, Tabitha, and Ethan. It was kind of like out of the ordinary. One minute you've got Boyd, who seems composed and relaxed and calm, he's been very professional so far, and then he literally just fucking screams as loud as he can into the mirror, and then the next scene transitions into him sitting down just having dinner.
Was this him letting out pain, anger, or was this just like, holy fuck, I don't want to go to this dinner? And he was like, what was it?
I think it was obviously the former, like.
He didn't want to go to the dinner?
No, the former. He's letting out pain and agony. And,
that's alright.
You think he was screaming because he had to go and eat dinner with Ethan? Pancake boy?
Maybe.
Alright, so we're at the diner. They're getting served up dinner. Sarah is saying to Ethan, here, do you want to come and help me?
Maybe he wants a lunchbox.
Maybe he does. Kenny then wants to have a word with Boyd. Kenny and Boyd are speaking. Then we transition to Sarah, and all of a sudden she starts taking a pain in her arm, and her arm starts being sketched into. It's almost like there's a imaginary like knife or pen that is like scratching.
It's like, kill the boy.
It's like scratching her skin, and into her arm it reads, "Kill the boy," as she looks over at Ethan eating his dinner. Then she starts to fall, and I guess she has some sort of like spasm, or it was attack, fit, seizure, something along those lines.
I think she looks like a man.
And then Boyd, what?
I think she looks like a man.
Right, and then Boyd runs in and basically checks on her, and that's how the episode ends. Now, we've seen Ethan take a seizure in episode 2. Now we've seen... Was it episode 2 or was it end of episode 1?
End of episode 1, right?
End of episode 1.
No.
Or is it begin of episode 2?
Begin of episode 2.
Yeah, begin of episode 2. Now we've seen Sarah take a seizure. Is there anything to do with seizures here?
I think there is, because when he took a seizure, Boyd and the doctor were like, hey, what about... And Jim's like, what do you mean? I think there's something, yep, definitely.
So, yeah, is there something related there? And that's some big questions we've got to ask. Why is Sarah now being tasked with killing Ethan? And apparently, according to this guy, why does Sarah look like a man? That is the big question.
Sarah's seeing the white boy as well, the little boy in white.
That is the
he wants to kill Ethan. He can't do it himself.
That is the big question that we need to ask. Why does Sarah look like a man? Anyway, that's it. Episode 4, A Rock in a Faraway. What are you rating this episode?
Probably I'm going to get a 6.
I will also give it a 6. I mean, I liked it. I thought it was a good episode. I don't think it was great.
I feel like it went down a different path from what the other 3 were. I feel like it introduced us to like magical stuff that I'm not really too keen on. Like the whole faraway tree and her getting stuff sketched into her arm. It feels like it's out the realms of reality, even though the entire show is. But I feel like what's going on? Sort of thing.
Aye. What's going on, guys?
Do you see where I'm coming from? Like, do you not feel like the faraway tree and something getting sketched into her arm is a lot more than these creatures that come out at night sort of deal?
Well, not really, because in episode 2, like, she's been told to kill people, and like, you never questioned that.
Yeah, that could just be a mental illness. Something that actually gets sketched into her arm's a bit different.
I would argue, everyone being trapped in a town and not being able to leave. I think that's...
Yes, but The Walking Dead's got zombies, but it's still set within the reality of the world.
True. I mean, I get you, but... fair enough, look. We're giving it a 6 out of 10, guys. I'm not here to argue.
Yeah, even on, he's taking on the Predator, right? Is he jumping 50 foot in the air and hitting it with his body?
Well, if they remake the Predator in 2023, probably will be.
Anyway, guys, 6 out of 10.
6 out of 10. Till next time. Peace. It's another episode of From, and it's another death. And once again, it is not the monsters causing them. Welcome back, guys, to Fog Entertainment, and we are here to review Season 1, Episode 5 of From. Once we're done with today's episode, it will be officially the halfway mark of Season 1. Halfway through, guys. Second half to go. But begin Episode 5 called Silhouettes with the aftermath of the seizure that Sarah was on the receiving end of last time in the diner. She is in the clinic now, being looked after by Christy. We have Boyd checking up on her as well. She insists that she's fine though, and she asks for Nathan not to see her. Boyd then sees Nathan when he's leaving the clinic and makes up an excuse for Nathan not to go and see her. Boyd says, look, it's Christy's first night back at the clinic, and after what happened last time with the whole talisman thing and the monsters getting inside and killing members in the clinic, maybe it's best that you don't go in and freak her out. And then Nathan reluctantly agrees to come back in the morning. So I felt like the way Sarah was like portraying this is almost like if Nathan's being bad to her, or he was like the one to bring on the seizures. It was almost like she didn't want to see him, and that maybe he was the one causing her to be unwell here.
Yeah, he's being painted in a bad light, and even when Boyd's treating him, he's like, Nah, how dare you think you're allowed to see your sister here?
Hey, where do you think you're going, Nathan?
Where do you think you're going, buddy? You're not allowed to look at your sister.
You better,
Fuck you, Nathan.
you better do a 180 there, Nathan,
I
boy.
hope you don't make it out this episode, boy.
So yeah, Nathan goes home. We then go back inside the Matthews family's house. They're asking questions and they are writing on the walls about their current situation.
The
So
writings on the wall.
Jim thinks if they write things down and if they ask questions, then it will help possibly figure out where they are and maybe get them home. I think that's a good idea. I know at the time you said it's dumb, but I mean,
It's not dumb, but
if you don't ask questions,
No, I think the entire community should be coming together.
yeah. What I would argue is, I think you're right. I mean, I don't really think there's much point Jim, Tabitha, and some wee child asking each other questions because they all had the same experience. Should it not be everyone else that arrived there at different times? Should they not be asking questions? I just don't really see what Jim and Tabitha are going to learn, considering that they've had the same.
Yeah, if I'm going to be critical,
journey
I
up to
feel
this
like
point.
that everyone should. But then again, right, you've got the colony house. They're all weird, and I think they're all just content living in this world because they're, you know, liberals. But back in the time where the Republicans live, brother, we want to escape. We want to get back to MAGA 2020. So I feel like you're beginning to see Boyd even like look at the board and go, here, I'm going to try and look for ways out of here. You've Jade running about looking for ways, albeit him and the Matthews family are new to this scenario. But yeah, I feel like it is. You need people to discuss it. You're like you said, you can't just have this family literally discuss it, because if people are coming from all walks of life and all like for different years, different settings, blah blah, this, that, and the fourth, you need more people than just this family. And yeah, again, I think it was stupid writing it on the wall, but I guess we don't really have sheets of A4 paper, so the wall will do.
Well, I think they do have loads of paper, to be honest.
But the wall was a cool action scene.
Yeah, well, the wall, it stays there. Paper, you can lose it. A wall, it's better because you're always constantly looking at it.
Fair enough, but
So I think the wall makes more
again,
sense.
this could drive you insane. 10 years into writing, you fuck out. There's no space.
Well, I don't.
Walls are going to run out.
I think Jim's hoping that in 10 years they're not there.
And I think it was just done for the big reveal of did we die in the crash? If she wrote it in like fucking small print on a bit of paper, the camera would have had the break just zooming in on it.
Yeah, in the clinic, we have Sarah asking Christy, if you had to do one awful thing and it got to get everybody home, would you do it? And like, I thought this was very obvious here that she is. There's something wrong with Sarah, and Christy's like, of course, yeah. If it meant I could get home, and if it meant I could save these people, then I'd be willing to do anything. And I think this gives Sarah the green light in her head. Okay, then
James gave the green light, brother.
I am going to kill this child. The next day, when the sun is up, Nathan approaches Sarah and he wants to see how she is, but she's been very, like, I don't know, been very distant and, like, I don't know, reluctant to really engage with any sort of conversation, and she decides she's going to head to the Matthews house.
She's got one mission, and one mission only. Kill the little boy.
With a scalpel that she stole from the clinic. Fatima and Ellis, they take Julie to this hidden lake to show her the fun parts of town. It's basically like a swamp. It's like, alright, maybe it's a bit cleaner than a swamp, but still, it's not.
Right, it's a wee pier that you can run and jump off. But these two are groomers. This is just fucking weird. I don't care what anybody says, oh, you're talking pish. See every scene that these are in, it is weird.
Aye.
Honestly, it creeps me out every scene that she is in with these two. Maybe not. What's the other guy? Ellis? I don't think he's as bad. But Fatima, she is sex offender number one.
Yeah, because I mean, straight away, after barely getting to know her, like
every scene is hands on. It's always touching.
Yeah,
here you go.
When she first meets her, I mean, she saves. You think that? See, when she first meets Julie, you think that she is saving Julie from the sex offender. But it's that's just Victor looking for peaches.
It's just which sex offender's going to get Julie.
Then she takes her upstairs and she's like holding her and going, oh, look out there. And then she takes her to Ellis's bedroom where the guy's fucking getting undressed for bed. And she's obviously left Julie in that room, which is a bit weird, you know, like a 16-year-old girl or whatever age she is being in the room of a guy that's in his like 20s or whatever. That's a bit strange. And then like they barely even know her, and like the next day when she decides she's going to stay at the colony house, Fatima makes her a room inside their bedroom, and it's like they've got this underage child that's going to be sleeping in their bedroom while they are sleeping in a bed that is literally, I mean,
15 feet away from them.
Yeah, and then we see it. They take her to this like pool lake place where it just involves like taking clothes off to jump in the pool, which is weird. Plus, like, we did see, and I don't know if anyone caught it, but we did see him, was it in episode 4? Yeah, I believe it was episode 4. When Jade was like leaving the colony house, you literally seen two people in daylight before he stole the bike off the big fat woman. There was two people having sex in the colony house, which I did not notice until I got it pointed out to me. But there's two people like that were in the background having sex in the middle of the day in the open in this colony house.
Outside or in the house?
In the house. And like, to me, like, they were. This is crazy. That
wasn't episode. There was maybe it's
episode 4.
Maybe it's two different scenarios. But there was when the Matthews family woke up. There was another scene like that. That must have been episode 3.
Maybe that was
back episodes then.
Yeah, and like, I just don't think. I honestly don't know how Jim has allowed his daughter to stay in this house. Like,
it's Jim.
He's a weak man.
He's a left-sided man.
We see Jade wandering around town with a radio. Wynn picks up at the bar. He's trying to figure out where they are. He speaks to I can't remember, who's the guy, the bartender? What's he called?
I don't know, but he's not very smart. He's pretty low IQ. I mean, yeah, he's made...
Well, actually, no, he turns out he is pretty smart, and he used to be a teacher. But Jade was kind of talking down to him as if he didn't know shit.
Well, I don't know. When it came to electronics, man, maybe he gets sent here in the 50s.
And then they're using some analogy about a cat in the box.
And that makes Jade figure out, oh, hold on.
If no one looks inside the box, if we can't get outside the box, they're not going to know if the cat's still alive or if the cat's dead, so they're not going to show any interest in if the cat in the... I didn't really get it, but I mean...
The cat, it was more of, if the cat moves or tries to make movement, they'll know about it. Therefore, if I get this radio to work...
They'll look for us.
Aye.
Yeah, basically
right,
that's...
But see the radio plan? That's all good, but... If you just always end up back here, what's a search and rescue? Obviously, you're going to try and get ways out of here. But if we're talking about how you're going to get out of here or how people's going to help you, how are they going to get to you?
I think that's something you figure out later on. I think you just try and get some sort of communication to the outside world first.
So do you think it's a situation of, right, we get people outside and they're like, oh, we figure out your coordinates, and it's... Well, what if the coordinates don't match up with any place on Earth and it's just in fucking hyperspace?
Well, how would they even know their coordinates?
Try and track the transmission.
What if it can't be tracked?
That's what I'm saying. Hyperspace.
Yeah, we don't know.
How do we get to them?
But again, I mean, wouldn't it be a breakthrough first if they could actually get something like that to work? If they could communicate with someone outside the town?
Of course.
That would be the first step, I think.
With the hallucinations and hearing voices, maybe you'll just pretend. Maybe you'll hear a voice that ain't there. False hope.
Yeah, we get to see Nathan. He's searching for Father Catry. He wants, I guess, to confide in Father Catry. He's worried about Sarah. Boyd goes and speaks to his wife, and he lets his wife know what's happening. He discusses his disease. We see his arm. He's getting the shake in his hand. So we get a feeling here that Boyd is potentially not doing too good. And Boyd's the last member of this ship that we want to go down. Boyd goes down, everybody goes down, I think.
Yeah, I feel like that's a pretty big reveal that the main character who's got something wrong with him. Of course, we don't find out what it is until a later date, but something pretty serious, and aye, it's going to be interesting to see how long this show goes on for.
Boyd asks for a sign, discusses the emergence of his hand tremor, and he tells her that he thinks he has an idea that could get everyone home, but he explains that if his idea fails, then it will leave everyone worse off. So basically what he is saying here, I believe, is that he has got an idea to try and save everyone and get everyone home, but however, if his idea fails, it's probably going to result in the death of him, which will leave the town worse off and everybody worse off in it. Nathan then eventually finds Father Catry and presumably confesses to him what Sarah told him. So now that Father Catry knows, Father Catry is like, okay, you confided in me, so I have to keep it a secret. I have to keep this among us. However, he's going to help him anyway. He's going to go and find Sarah and try and keep everyone safe for Sarah, because Sarah's already proven that she is a danger. Now, I don't think anybody really knows that she's going to kill the boy. No one can know that. But that is Sarah's game plan here. That is her goal.
That's her mission.
And after her visiting the Matthews house earlier, she takes Ethan to the farm to check on the animals. But of course, Ethan's mum wants to come with him.
No wonder, though. She's like, oh, I'll just take him. It's alright. It would have been very poor if Jim and Tabitha just agreed to let her go.
Yeah, but that didn't happen. Tabitha went with them to visit the barn animals. Sarah then tells Tabitha there's hiding places all over the town in case you are left outside at night when the monsters come. And she's like, oh, there's one inside the barn that I can show you if you want. Tabitha's like, yeah, okay, sure. I guess that'll help me. Maybe one night if we're trapped outside, we can use this hiding spot. But when Sarah goes to show her it, Sarah locks Tabitha inside the hiding place and then just locks the door with like a big broom handle sort of thing. She just like puts it across the lock, so therefore the door cannot be opened, and Tabitha is stuck inside this hiding place wondering why the hell did Sarah lock me in here. Then Sarah approaches Ethan with her scalpel behind her. She says, look Ethan, you're a nice kid, I like you, and what comes next isn't personal. I'm sorry I have to do this, but let me tell you that you are going to save everybody. Everybody is going to get to go home because of you. But before Sarah can do anything with the scalpel, Nathan, her brother, shows up. This kind of distracts Sarah, and then little Ethan, he kicks her in the shins and then runs off. Sarah goes to give chase, but Nathan grabs her from behind, preventing her from going after the little boy. But then when she tries to break free,
Nathan gets caught in the throat, in the jugular. A big deep slash. Good night. Nathan is choking on his blood. It is cheery bye to Nathan. Pretty deep wound this. Ethan runs off, doesn't really know about this, and then he's about to get groomed. Because Ethan has ran in to Ellis, Fatima, and Julie. Oh, what's wrong, Ethan? What's wrong? And then Big Father steps up. He's like, what the fuck is going on here? He didn't actually swear, but that's what happened. He gives chase to Sarah, we're presumed to think. And do you not feel that this whole scenario with the Matthews family where one of their kids is in danger has happened like in every episode?
Yeah, maybe Jim and Tabitha need to keep a closer eye on Ethan. Maybe they could just lock him in the basement and then he will be okay. As they go back to their house, though, Jim is not taking this lying down. He confronts Father Cattry and Boyd, and he wants to know what's going to be done about Sarah. Father Cattry says he tried to run after her, but he couldn't keep up and she went into the woods. Jim says he wants this handled, and what are they going to do about it? Boyd says, well, if she comes back before nightfall, then we'll handle it. And then Jim's like, well, if she doesn't. And then Boyd's like, well, if she doesn't, then it's handled. And I like this. I thought this was a good...
Very good line, but was the obvious not there, Jim?
Yeah.
If she doesn't come back, and she's out there...
I mean, what do you think happens?
You saw what happened to Frank.
What do you think happens, Jim, you fucking moron? No wonder Ethan gets in so much danger with this guy's his father.
Why don't you write it on the wall, Jim? What happens to her if she don't come back, Jim?
Then Jim is like not happy. He's, you pretend this is like one big happy family, and then he storms off, and it's like, you know what, Jim? Why don't you stand your ground instead of storming off? What do you want? What do you want them to do? Right? This woman tried to kill you. I get that, but she's literally just killed her brother. So I mean, it's not like he's not really winning. It's like it's a shit situation. But I mean, we've seen people die since Jim arrived. I mean, Ethan's going to survive. You know what I mean? So I don't understand what his problem is here.
He's like, what are you going to do about it? Why don't you put matters into your own hand, Jim? If she comes back, you fucking deal with it.
Yeah, I'm sure if she comes back, then she'll go in the box. But right now, she's not there. So what do you want to do? It's approaching nightfall. Do you want Boyd and Father Cattry to run it to the woods?
I mean, I don't mind Jim, but I feel like he's just a bit bitchy, isn't he? He's not a man.
He's not a man. He then goes back to the house, and Tabitha is like, tells Julie to go play with Ethan. She's going to read him a story from his Demo Gordon, whatever it is, Stranger Things book. Tabitha then asks for a pen, and she goes, I've got a question. And she writes on the wall, did we survive the crash? I get it. I think they're trying to make this to be some sort of big question. Oh, this is a big scenario. Is this a possibility? It's like, I mean, let's be real. Even if they didn't survive the crash, they're still in the same situation. It doesn't really change anything. It's still
as if they're alive.
Yeah. So even if this is some sort of afterlife, I mean, purgatory, like you're still there, so it doesn't really change.
Unless they all came in agreement and went,
let's just all kill ourselves.
Yeah, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah, but I mean...
But also, I mean, the evidence, they were already going around in circles, ended up in the same location.
Yeah, the
creepy evidence points to you were already there.
Yeah, the creepy shit. And they already reached the town before the crash. So...
This just seemed like a big forced dramatic reveal about, holy fuck, she thinks that we're dead. Rather than, hey, there's no chance this could actually be.
Yeah, I mean, I think maybe this is a question that could have been asked earlier.
I think it would have been better if Ethan wrote this, because he's a kid and can't really think.
But then you could argue that's too complicated for him to think, no? That's like thinking a
Hold on, he's actually thinking about stuff with the pedo guy with the lunchbox. So Jim's fucking writing on the walls about what
I don't
he's
think
gonna have at the diner.
I don't think we've seen Victor in this episode.
No, we didn't.
Obviously, no one made him his packed lunch. He was lunchless today. He wasn't packed and loaded and ready to go.
Fucking.
He's on the run. He's hiding for Jim.
He's hiding for Jim.
Probably hiding in the faraway tree. Then we go back to the diner, and Boyd is reassuring Christy that none of this is her fault. Christy feels guilty. She believes that she has essentially got Nathan killed and that she could have got the boy killed because Sarah was basically last night confessing her intentions to Sarah, to Christy, but Christy never caught on. And when you look back, I mean, I think it's pretty obvious that Sarah was asking really, really weird questions about doing something bad, and it's like, why would you randomly bring that? You just don't bring that up
Unless you're going to do something bad. And that's exactly what she did.
that would be like someone saying, do you think if you touch kids it's bad?
Exactly. I think it's very bad.
Do you know what I mean? It's like
That's Fatima, that one.
It was a weird question. And then Boyd's like, look, it wasn't your fault. You weren't to know that Sarah was going to go crazy and do this and do that. And then as they are talking, the jukebox comes on at the table. And we've seen this a few times where the jukebox in the diner just randomly comes on. I wonder if that means anything.
I think it does. It's to do with the electricity because the lights go on and off just like a jukebox. So it'll be interesting to see where that goes. Cause
it obviously means something to Boyd though, because he starts getting happy and Christy's like, what's wrong? And he's like, I think I just got my sign. Because earlier when he was visiting his wife's gravestone, he said he wanted a sign from her to speak to him, and he took this jukebox coming on as a sign.
Was it to do with the lyrics of the song, or was it just to do with like an imaginary light bulb as the jukebox?
I would need to go back and listen to the lyrics of the song because I didn't quite catch.
My father.
It just
the little boy.
It sounded like some song from the 60s, and I wasn't really listening to the lyrics. But I mean, who knows? Maybe there was something there, or maybe it could just be the fact the jukebox came on that gave him his sign. Bit random, if you ask me. But
I need to go kill all these kids.
But anyway, guys, that was the end of the episode. That is the end of Silhouettes. And what are you rating it?
I'm going to give it a 7.
A 7? I'll get a 6.
6? You thought it was bad?
That's a 6 bad.
Oh, well, you thought it was below the rest of the show has been, so the weakest episode for you?
No, I gave the last episode a 6.
So you think the show's fucking nosediving?
I think 6 is a good rating.
Or do you feel like with the midway point, so things just have to be a bit...
I think in a 10 episode season, I think you're always going to slow things down in the midway episodes.
Yep. Well, yeah.
You're going to start strong, then you're going to slow things down.
And you're going to finish strong.
Now, the only time that's not acceptable is the final ride, Mayans MC Season 5, when you've got so much story to tell and every episode needs to be a banger. And if you want to see Mayans content, then you're on the right channel. Just click Fog Entertainment, click that subscribe button, because we offer daily Mayans content. But if you're here for From, then you're going to get loads of theories as well. Season 2 is currently out. We're trying to catch up as quick as we can. We're rating this episode a 6.5 out of 10. But let us know your ratings down below and let us know what you think is in store for the rest of Season 1. And if you want to let us your opinion on Season 2, then feel free. But no spoilers, guys, because we're still on Season 1. That is where we're going to end things here. We say goodbye to Nathan. He does not make it out of the first half of Season 1. Now we move into the second half of Season 1. And who knows what we do? Death predictions.
He's a bit of nothing character, Nathan, wasn't he? He was just her brother.
You know, I actually got some weird sort of like incest kind of feeling. I don't know if you got that, or am I just making this up?
Kind of, I think it was just more that she's weird and therefore he's blood related, so he's also fucking weird.
I got incest feeling, but yeah, at least he's dead, so there can be no incest unless she digs up the body, and that'd be even worse than incest.
That's just quite weird.
Yeah, that would make it very weird. Anyway, guys, 6.5 out of 10. We'll catch you in the next one. Until then, thanks for watching, and peace. We're writing a new book. Book 74. Welcome back, guys, to Fog Entertainment here to review from Season 1, Episode 6. And this one is called Book 74. And we'll discuss exactly what that means later on as we review the episode. But this is officially the first episode into the second half of Season 1. What did you make of the first half of Season 1 from episodes 1 through to 5? What would you say about the show? What rating would you give overall?
A 7.5.
7.5? I think
because even though some episodes might have got a 6 and an 8, I feel like you can't really rate episode 5 off like the plot of the show, if that makes sense, like the actual dynamic.
No, sometimes, not every episode can be a 10.
Yep. Absolutely, I agree with that.
Well, most episodes can't be. Get my point. Some episodes need to slow down for the next episodes to catch fire.
I like the fact that like 4 and 5 hasn't really included any monsters. It's been more on the actual people.
Well, who knows? Maybe based on what happens in episode 6, maybe we're setting up for the return of the monsters. But we do start with Father Catry. He's like holding a service. He's talking about God, which obviously he's Father Catry. That's what he's going to do.
He's not going to be talking about Chris Benoit, man. He's talking about the big G.O.D.
That's what Father Catry knows best. God. He talks about the Bible. He talks about God. And I guess everybody in this town, maybe they need some form of hope. And if religion is their form of hope, then so be it. I don't think we'll see any colony people at this service from Father Catry. It appears to be all town folk, and I just don't think
they probably don't know Nathan's dead.
I don't think. Well, I think they do. I don't think religious people would really stay in the colony anyway. I don't think it's their cup of tea.
No.
After everyone leaves, we see Tabitha stay behind, and she asks Father Catry a question. She's like, I need to know, do you think that we could all be dead, and that this is some sort of like middle ground between heaven and hell, some sort of purgatory? Father Catry basically dismisses her. She says, you must think I'm crazy for asking this. He's like, no, I don't think you're crazy, but I've had lots of experience in answering this question, because it's obviously something that Father Catry hears a lot.
Yeah, exactly. It's kind of like the Borderline. Have you ever watched Alice in Borderline? It's kind of like that. So I think it's a valid question. Of course, people are going to ask this. You're not just going to arrive in this sort of world or this location and not ask questions. Just go to some house that some family's been murdered in, eat your pish dinners through the diner and shut up. You're going to have to ask questions.
Speaking of Alice in Borderland, though, I never thought that was coming. I thought that was a big swerve when that was revealed. That never once caught my mind.
I actually feel like that sucked, that whole reveal.
Yeah, I don't know what else they could have done though, but I didn't see that coming. So I'll give it props for being a surprise.
Yeah, but to me it was quite ludicrous, the fact that here these people are playing games for like 9 months, while in reality they've been sitting in a bit of rubble for a day, and it's like, oh, that makes come on.
Well, I think no, I don't think that's great, but I think the worst possible outcome for like shows like this can be they woke up and it was all a dream. Now, I know some people wanted that to be the ending of The Walking Dead, but I think that is the worst ending you can possibly do, because that means everything that happened was non-existent and it was just a figment of that one person's imagination. So for me, the whole they woke up and it was a dream, that is probably the laziest and least creative piece of storytelling you can write.
Yep, I feel like this show's going to do something like Lost. Now, if you've watched Lost, it kind of goes for like, here, it's people stuck on this island after a plane crash, and then after 6 seasons, it's like, fuck, you even forgot they crashed on an island with a plane. I think by the time this show finishes, we could be looking at a case of, hey, remember this show when it was about they couldn't go outside at night and there was monsters? I feel like it's a good show, but do you not think it could go off the rails the further we go into it?
And I don't think it'll go 6 seasons.
No, I think it'll go 3, 4. But I think Harold Porano being a part of this show is a big deal, because I think he's seen the mess that Lost became, and I think he could...
I don't want to be a part of that. Don't go down that same route. But yeah,
he wants to right that wrong.
Father Catry basically dismisses Tabitha, and off she goes on her way. Once he's got rid of her, he locks up his little server's room. He gets like a candle, he gets a lantern, he walks down the steps into like some sort of basement, and we see that he's actually got Sarah held captive. So he's holding her captured in a cellar, and then Father Catry begins to explain to her about the modern Bible. It's composed of 73 books, and he has a theory that the townspeople are being tested by God, and that they're currently formulating a new book, the 74th book, which ties into the title name, Book 74. And he wants Sarah to tell him more about the voices and prove their existence. So what did you think of this?
Yeah, I mean, it's I was going to say plausible case. Is it really plausible? I mean, I guess anything's plausible here, but it could be. But it's very confusing to me, to him, to hink this. Like, how can he hink the Bible, all this stuff that happened 2,000 years ago, then all of a sudden God's like, you know what? Fuck it. Make the 74th book.
Yeah, but do you not think it's all going to be dependent on someone's circumstances and their way of life? Like, everyone is going to have, like, a different mindset to what this is.
No, exactly, and I feel like this suits his character for obvious reasons, the Bible.
The fact that he is he's, a priest or whatever.
I never think you've got to factor in, everyone that ended up here came in a form of transport, car, maybe bus.
So you can't walk here? You don't think you can...
I don't think you could walk here. I feel like with cars, you're going at a certain speed, so the road can just... But maybe this is just...
Do you think there could be...
America, do you think you're on that side of the road? If you're in the UK, we drive on the other side of the road because we're not fucking retarded. But does that mean you would flip sides of the road and the tree would be there? How would different scenarios like that? Say if you stayed in your house, say you were a hermit, could you ever end up here? Probably not. So you try to tell me that God's like, here, it's only people who drive end up in this location.
Well, everyone that so far has got American plates. We're yet to encounter anybody foreign.
Which again, is it going to be some form of like American Squid Game sort of ordeal? People placing bets, how long these people can survive in this magical... I don't, could be. That's what I like about it, right? Because no matter how shit the show becomes, it's like, what's the fucking reveal going to be? What's going to happen?
Right, this guy's already put the final nail in the coffin of the show.
No, I do not feel like it's intriguing.
Yeah, it's intriguing,
Even if every character in this show was shite, which they're not, it's always like, what is this?
Out of the two options, Tabitha thinks they could be dead, and Fowler Cartry thinks they could be in the middle of a new book. God could be, using these people. They could be getting tested by God, and that Book 74 is being... Out of those options, what do you think is more likely? I think they're both wrong.
I think it's some middle ground. I think it could be a case of... Well, no, not middle ground. I think it's more towards the God aspect, where they're being tested, but it's not by God. It's maybe by, like, the government or something. CIA. Something like that.
Strange. We'll come, obviously...
What do you think it is? Go for it.
I actually don't know, but I'm intrigued to find out.
But wait, what do you think it is?
I think they are being tested. I think it could be... I think it could be like a test. Obviously, it's not like Squid Game where there is money on the line. I don't see that, but I think there could be maybe someone observing this.
Is it from teleportation? How do people end up on the same road? How do they not escape it? Is it a hallucination that they can't escape? What's going on?
Yeah, well, I think you need to get... I don't think we're going to find out those answers in episode 6. We then go to Boyd and Kenny. Boyd's explaining to Kenny, look, I need to go out into the woods. The only way we can escape this place is to venture out further into the woods. We found out with the RV that the talisman will protect you. We never went out to the woods at night because we didn't know if it would work beyond the town. So now that we know, I'm going to go and I'm going to try and find us a way out of here. Try and find civilization. And Boyd wants to know if Kenny is able, if he's ready to lead things in case something happens to Boyd. And obviously, even if Boyd makes it, Boyd wants to know if he's okay to be here. Because Boyd, I think he's not planning on like a one-night thing. He's planning on gathering supplies and going out for a prolonged period of time and just seeing how far the woods will take him.
I like Kenny, right? I think he's a good guy, but see, as soon as it comes to someone coming up with a slight idea about how we got here or how do we escape, I think his arse goes. It's like when Jade's like, well, this has to be some... He's fucking lose it. Oh, no, that stuff will drive you insane. What's his obsession with not wanting to get out of here?
Yeah, Kenny doesn't like this. He rejects this plan. He says it's a suicide attempt, and if you're so eager to kill yourself, then why don't you just fuck off already?
I think it's with Kenny. I think this place gives his life a purpose. I think in the fucking real world, he must have been a loser.
I don't see that. I think he's more. I think he just doesn't want to lose anybody else. I think because we've seen in the early episodes, he was like, "I can't be burying anyone else. I can't be seeing any more dead bodies." So I think it's fair to say that Kenny, alongside Boyd, they seem to be the two that bury bodies. Again, that's what they were doing right here when they were having this conversation. They were burying Nathan. So it could just be that Kenny's literally sick of seeing people die, and he's sick of having.
Yeah, but Boyd's reason here is to like stop the bodies being buried potentially, end it all.
Yeah, and also Kenny did ask Boyd if he was going out alone, if he was taking backup, and Boyd said no, he was going alone. So maybe Kenny's more. Maybe Kenny thinks Boyd is perhaps the one giving up.
Maybe
Kenny thinks that Boyd's.
I'm going to kill myself, Kenny.
Well, I don't think he thinks that, but maybe he thinks Boyd is like treating his life as if it's not important anymore, and he's willing to like basically sacrifice it, which is what Boyd is kind of doing, but. In a heroic way, he's willing to.
I don't have time left here. I've got Parkinson's, and we're going to move on.
I don't think Kenny. I think it's more of a case of he just doesn't want Boyd to die.
Well, you know, yeah, but like with Jade, he like shot it down really fast. Like, he explained the boards, like all different locations, and Jade's like, well, how do we get? Oh, we don't talk about that, man. Come on.
Well, I think we need to talk about it. I think we need to talk about the things that are happening more, because if you don't talk about things, you can't really solve issues.
See, in my opinion, see, as long as it's daylight, I think everyone in the town should be in the church, right? What is the course of action here? That's what I'd be doing.
I think they should be reporting any little thing that they noticed. You've got Jade who's seeing these symbols, but he's not really telling anyone. I mean, why is he not saying to Boyd, look, we need to arrange a meeting with everybody in the town and colony.
Yeah.
And like you got Victor who is seeing things. He knows about the faraway tree.
He knows that the fact the forest is getting closer. All this stuff.
He's seen this boy in white a long time ago. It's like I just feel like there's people seeing little things that, and it would just be beneficial if they were all sitting down.
Yep.
And
discussing it.
We later see in this episode where we see that Tabitha, when Jim and Tabitha, they're talking about like the lights and stuff like this, and how there's no power, but the lights are on, and then they're knocking. Tabitha with Ethan are knocking down walls to try and see where the source is coming for the light to light up the light bulbs. And again, it's like, isn't that something that should be getting discussed among everybody in the community? I just feel like there's a lot of people well, I say a lot of people. It seems to be everybody in the town. And Victor, I guess, in the colony, everyone else in the colony house are just like partying and hipsters.
Let's just get lit.
Like they're not really contributing anything. But I feel like the people in the town are actually, if they came together and discussed every little thing that they know, then maybe they could put pieces together and work on a way out of here.
No, they could, but I think it does go back to the thing of people are probably afraid. But then, why can't you just discuss it and go back with your talisman? It's all right. See if everyone in this entire town and colony house came together and tried to come up with an idea. Like, see if they all tried to do what Boyd did. I know it could end in an absolute massacre, but I think it just has to get to a point where, right, we need to...
It's either we try and do something, or we just accept this as our lives. Until we die peacefully, or until the monsters get us. I don't think that is a good idea. So yeah, we need to discuss more, and we need to try and find a way out. Then Jade bursts into the Matthews house. They're not that happy. They're like, shouldn't you knock first? And he's like, no, I'm not going to knock. And they point out that he is the asshole that ran them off the road. But he puts all the blame on Toby, and he's like, look, that wasn't me. That was Toby, and that guy is dead now. I've known him since high school, and he's dead. He isn't walking around with a little boo-boo on his knee. So let's, cut out all this crap and let's get down to business. And I feel like Jade, I kind of like this Jade guy.
He cut a good promo here, but again, he did barge in their house. Jim's just a bit of a shite bag, this guy, right? So you got all these scenarios last episode where he's like, oh, these people, it's not safe here. And then some guy, right, who you don't even like, busts into your house and he's just like, most people knock. See if this was a real man, would Jim not fuck him over and threw him out the window?
What if Victor burst him without knocking?
I don't know, lunchbox to the side of the skull, Abel Teller style, good night.
Speaking of Victor, where the hell is he?
I don't know.
I think Jim killed him. Off screen.
Buried him in his fucking lunchbox.
He's in the lunchbox, damn it.
You fix roller coasters? Well, you can put this antenna up a tree.
Yeah, so he takes him out to a tree. They're building, they're getting all the parts and stuff. They're like stripping wires from the car, and Jim's like, why the heck did we need to go all the way out here? And Jade basically says, well, look, this car costs a shitload of money, and I'd rather use the pieces from this car than whatever crap cars are in the town.
And it's like more modern. He says it's like an Audi Q5 compared to some of the cars that are in the town that have probably been there since the 60s.
Maybe their stuff doesn't even work. We then see them trying to put this piece together. Like, they try and communicate. Jade wants Jim to climb a high tree. Jim's like, the tree's not high enough, but Jade says, look, it is high enough, and basically I'm afraid of heights, so I get vertical, so I can't do it. And he kind of, again, rubs Jim the wrong way, and it's like, you know, you were the peasant that built, what was it they called, the teacup, right?
Aye.
And I'm the guy that created a multi-million-dollar business. Jim's like,
Fuck
you know what,
you,
fuck
Jade.
you then, walks off. But Jade manages to apologise, so like, I'm not good with people, I'm not good with words, and he convinces him to stay and climb the tree. Now, while Jim is climbing the tree, Jade gets brutally attacked by some black guy with...
Civil War soldier.
Yeah, he's got like a rifle with like a massive spear on the end of it. What would you call that?
It's a bayonet.
Aye.
Fucking
I know,
hell,
but it didn't
what
look...
do you
No,
call
but
that?
it didn't look like a bayonet. It looked like
I know, but it basically is a bayonet.
I know, but it looked like a different form of bayonet. But anyway...
A Winchester.
Yeah, Jade gets
You
chased.
see, right, this immediately tells us that this is like 200 years ago. Civil War soldiers.
Yeah.
So, something's up here.
And when you see the monsters, they do look old-fashioned as well.
Yeah, so Invictus been there a while, so
So is that one, how long's this town been here? And the boy in white, who we haven't seen that much of, but when we do see him, he looks like someone very long. He
the
looks
9th
like,
century.
yeah. So we see Jade getting chased by this guy. He stabs him, then he stabs him again, and he's covered in blood. And he sees dead bodies hanging from trees, and he's freaking out. And is he dead? No, because it looks like it was just some form of like hallucination. Jim tries to see if Jade's okay, but Jade's like, "Get the fuck off me!" And he walks basically back to his house. I don't know where he goes.
He still lives with Kenny, doesn't he?
Yeah, he lives with Kenny. Then we see Jim. He grabs the radio, and he's trying to, I don't know, get word on the other side, but he only receives static, so doesn't look like their attempt to...
This masterful plan did not go to plan, did it?
No, but you know what? They tried. They tried. Then we see Boyd talking with Christy. He visits the clinic where Lou Sr. died. I guess he was looking for
blood.
Kenny. All he finds is blood. Then Christy reveals that, look, maybe Kenny doesn't need an authority figure. Maybe he doesn't need like a boss. Maybe he needs a father. And
Black, come on.
I think she feels bad about this, because I think straight away Boyd kind of thinks of maybe his relationship with his son Ellis. And she tries to apologise, but Boyd's like, no, you're right. Maybe I'm being too hard on Kenny. Maybe he needs more of a father figure. So we then see Boyd. He goes and gets like a glove and a baseball glove and a ball.
Mitt.
A mitt, ball, glove, whatever.
Baseball, mitt.
Major League Baseball.
Fucking sucks, right?
Boyd says...
I thought he'd be more of a basketball player. Or NFL, not fucking baseball.
Well, Boyd said he used to be good back in the day, so that they're playing. Kenny's beginning to come around a bit more. After a discussion, I think Kenny is now saying, yeah, look, I will create us a bat. I'll sculpture a bat for us out of wood for when you get back. So then Boyd looks at Kenny, he's like, yeah, Kenny's on my side. So
Kenny's the man, he's coming back.
looks like Kenny's found more hope, and Boyd says, I don't need a mitt. Give me your best shot. Kenny's like, well, I've got fire in this hand, and Boyd's like, nah, don't worry about it.
He's got pins and needles in that hand.
Kenny then goes to throw the ball, and we see Boyd is like his catching and throwing hand is like completely shaking, and he can't seem to control it. But Kenny doesn't notice this at first and throws the ball. But then Boyd has like a magical catch. It didn't even seem real.
Yeah, he used the other hand though.
Yeah, and he wasn't even looking, and he caught the ball. So I thought he was bullshitting about being this, great prospect back in high school. But
He's the man.
maybe he could have been the next. I don't know any famous baseballers, but
What's the one, Rose? Babe Rose?
Babe Rose, aye. Babe Ruth.
Babe Ruth.
Fucking Rose.
I don't give a fuck about baseball, right?
Babe Ruth. So we see them playing with the thing, with the baseball. Bit weird seeing two grown men, but here, maybe that's what they need. A bit of relief, a bit of fun to.
A bit of banter.
Yes, we then go back to Father Catray, and he is dealing with Sarah. Sarah's like, the voices want me to tell you something, so he gets her paper, even though you said there was no A4 paper, I believe, in the last episode. That's why they chose to write on walls. Father Catray's got all the paper you need.
Was this A4 paper or fucking pishy Bible paper?
Hold on, wait, you think Father Catray would have ripped up Bibles to give to Sarah? Come on.
No, but A3.
Come on.
A5? What's the smallest? I don't know.
A3 is smaller than A5, I think.
A3 then.
Yeah. No, wait. It's a larger. The larger the number gets, the smaller it is. So A5's 8. So he gives her he gives her paper, and she starts scribbling a shitload of stuff down. Then she reveals a drawing, and it's like of a chocolate bar, I guess we find out. So,
yeah, but see, at the time, it looked like a spaceship.
It did.
And I was like, that makes a bit more sense than a chocolate bar.
But Sarah said the voices, this is proof that they're real and that they're not made up, because they seen Father Catray dig this bag when he came to the town, when he first arrived. Then Father Catray goes out to the middle of a field, he digs up. Lots of digging. We continue to dig here.
It's a weird bag to bury.
Yeah, so he gets his bag. In it, he's got like a bottle of alcohol. I'm not sure if it's whiskey or vodka, but it's a bottle of alcohol. Thought he was going to take a drink, but he decided against it. Then he pulled out a shirt covered in blood.
And then a chocolate bar.
Which was very weird. Like, why did he... Is Father Catray a killer?
He gives me that sort of vibe.
Has Father Catray killed someone and he was hiding the evidence by burying this shirt? Is it his shirt?
Yeah, because it had the collar, priest collar on it.
So, yeah, why was he burying this? And then he pulls out a chocolate bar, and that was what Sarah drew on the paper. So the voices in Sarah's head, maybe these voices
will have to be legit.
Are legit, because how the hell would they know about this bag that Father Catray buried years ago when he first arrived here in the town? So we all thought Sarah was crazy.
I mean, someone could have seen the bag getting buried from afar, but not the fucking chocolate bar.
Is it fair to say that she's not crazy? She's just being like controlled or possessed at the moment by something else?
But how did she get possessed? Maybe it's the same thing with the seizures on Ethan, because maybe he's getting groomed by the boy in white. Who knows what's going on? But yeah, bit interested to see how this goes. But
we don't really know. But then
he did say that we've got to give proof to Boyd to keep you alive. So this is the proof he needs.
Yeah, then we see Kenny's mother, and she takes Jade into like the back of her diner where she's got like all this basically storage stuff where people come and take it if they need it. And she shows him this book, I guess from years ago, that someone else used to live in the town used to draw, and it's got the same symbols that Jade has been seeing. So we don't know what that means, but Jade has been seeing the same symbols in his hallucinations or whatever that somebody else used to see. So will that lead to anything? I guess we'll find out. We also see Tabitha digging a hole in the basement. She wants to find out where the electricity power lines lead. And Jim is like, okay, give me that shovel again. More digging. And at the colony house, it looks like they're having a party. And then we see some guy with like a weird, porn tash moustache. He's walking up the stairs. He opens the window, and there is a monster outside. Tash. And so earlier on, we seen someone leaving flowers outside, and Julie picked them up. She didn't know who was doing it, but it turns out it must have been this guy, and he was leaving the flowers for the monster. Then the monster asks him, "When can I come in?" And that finishes off the episode. So could the colony house about to come under attack here?
Well, if you look at the colony house, right, you've got the main woman, Ellis, Fatima, Julie, and then you've got Victor, right? But see, apart from those five, they could all literally die and nothing would really change. So in my opinion, I feel like the colony house is going to get fucking wiped out. Whether it's for this person... Trini. Or the forest that gets closer. Somebody's dying. I feel like this specky bastard's going to get buried in the whole Victor dug up like 3 episodes ago. That's my prediction.
Who's Specky?
This guy with the tash had specs on.
Alright, did he? I wasn't really... I didn't realise.
We know it's his big tash, we know his big specs.
Well, everyone wears specs, but no one has a tash like that. Well...
Jimmy Savile didn't have a tash, but he wore specs.
Alright, this video's going off topic. What are you giving the rating?
I'll give this one a 7.
A 7? Sticking with a 7? You know what? I'll get a 7 as well, because I kind of feel like this one it didn't give us like answers, but I think like we dived a little bit deeper and asked out some more questions.
No, I think it's good about this show. I feel like you could do your own writing on the wall. I don't feel like, I'm not going to write on my wall, but I feel like you could...
The writings on the wall.
I did that in the episode ago, mate. But I feel like you could do like a 3-hour discussion point about this show, about what the fuck's going on.
Yeah, what is going on? But we don't have 3 hours. We've got about 20 minutes, so we're going to wrap up here. I will also give this one a 7, so we're rating this 7 out of 10. We'll catch you in the next one, guys. Episode 7, Season 1, called All Good Things Must Come to an End. Well, actually, it's just called All Good Things, but
maybe
normally...
What's episode 8 called? Come to an End?
Normally good things do come to an end, so we'll see what happens. Anyway, guys, that is it. We'll catch you in the next one. Make sure you leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe, and we will see you later. But until next time, peace. They say all good things must come to an end, and that is kind of what happened for the Colony House. Welcome back, guys, to Fog Entertainment, here to review from Season 1, Episode 7. And I think it's fair to say this is the episode where we see the most deaths. We see a lot of deaths. We probably see more deaths in this episode than we do in the other episodes combined. Not all of them were on screen, but I believe the total was 14?
Yes, it was 14. I heard something fatty say 14.
Donna said 14. We'll take her word for it. But we start at the beginning of the episode where everybody is alive. We see them getting ready in the Colony House for a party. Apparently, it's Fatima's 1 year celebration. They celebrate being here for a year, so it's not a birthday celebration. It's literally 1 year till the day where she arrived at this place. Julie thinks it's a little bit weird that they celebrate being here, but I mean, I guess if they're being a family and they're trying to come together and work together and have like relationships, and if they're not trying to give up in life and trying to build something here, then I can see why they would celebrate this.
Kinda, but I feel like the birthday should just be maybe Christmas or something, but actually celebrate, because if you're celebrating a year being here, there's a lot of people in this house. It feels like it would be every other day.
And another thing is, off topic, do we have any idea what the actual dates are? Or is dates just completely went out the window? Now, we know people obviously keep a record of when they got here, but do we see dates?
Yeah, as anyone says, right, well, who's like the earliest? Obviously it'd be a big creepy, what's his name?
Victor.
So like, if he was like, say he was 72, and then the Matthews family was like 2023, is that how it works? Or
I would be interested to see if there's like a book that's being kept and it has like all the dates of the arrivals, or is it literally just them counting how long they've been here? I would like to see if there's dates, but anyway, we'll figure that out, I guess.
The concept of time's different.
Yeah,
we've seen a Civil War soldier which dates 200 years.
That's what I mean. It is 365 days here, what it would be in real life, or could it be different? Anyway, Julie thinks it's weird that they celebrate your amount of time being here, the anniversary of you arriving at this place. What I found weird was Fatima gives Julie a dress to wear to the party tonight, and it was like the most revealing dress you could get.
Yep. Well, you know what? You say weird, but it's become the norm in this house with Fatima.
Yeah.
The weird has become normal.
It has. So the weird is becoming normal.
And it gets even more weirder because she starts kissing this fat, out of shape person who looks about 45.
Yeah, we'll discuss that later when it happens. We also see Ellis getting drunk, and his whole demeanour kind of changes during this period of time. He thinks Fatima and Julie are boring for not wanting to get drunk. And again, I mean, is Julie really drinking age?
No.
Especially in America when it's 21. I mean, like, why?
She can hold the right to bear arms.
Is it not up to her parents to decide whether she can have a little drink or not?
It is. They're in the town and she's jobbed out and went to the Colony House. So guess what? Fatima and Ellis, you are her parents.
It just seems a little bit weird, like them taking in this teenage girl and offering her booze and stuff like this and giving her clothes and all that crap to put on. But whatever. We see Victor looking for peaches, but Donna says that they ran out. But don't worry, we've kept you some fruit cocktail. But Victor doesn't want fruit cocktail. He wants his peaches. Victor. And Victor's like, the whole time I've been here, that's the one thing that never changed. The peaches.
All right,
and Donna's like, sorry, as if Your whole family just got massacred last night?
I don't get this, right? He's been here a long time. How the hell have they not run out of peaches? Come on.
I don't know, but I mean, do you not think...
Did someone bring a peach truck?
Donna's like, I was trying to save some for you. We've been keeping them in the reserve, but Victor's really upset here. I mean, could there be some sort of parallel connection with this place and peaches, or just is Victor just a fan of peaches?
I think it's just his favourite wee snack, isn't it?
No, well, you're not getting any.
Maybe not.
And then we see Kenny. And is it Kenny? Kevin. We see Kevin, and he leaves flowers outside the colony house. So then it's pretty much revealed that he is the one that's been leaving the flowers for his monster friend outside. So we didn't know where the flowers were coming from. Now we know. We then go to the town. We see Boyd. He's doing his whole gimmick thing. He's making sure everyone gets in.
Ding, ding.
He gets to his post office / I guess this is his police office, but it's a post office.
It's a police office.
It's close enough.
First class service.
He gets there. Father Cartry's like, I need to talk to you. Boyd's like, well, come back in the morning. It's almost night. And Father Cartry's like, no, this won't wait till morning. We have a lot to talk about. Boyd's like, yeah, well, I need to tell you stuff too, so I guess we do have a lot to talk about. I guess we're going to have a sleepover.
It's a sleepover, officer. Officer friendly. Let's go.
Yeah, then we go back to the Matthews house, and we see them talking about the power lines and stuff like this, and from the last episode where he got a signal, and they think that there might be something happening there.
We don't let Ethan out of our sight.
No,
I'm nervous, despite the fact he's never in our sight.
We go back to the colony house. Donna's throwing a party, throwing a celebration. She's giving a big toast to Fatima, their sweet Fatima. Then we see Fatima kiss some overweight chick, and it was mouth to mouth, and you can see Julie's face, and she's really, really disappointed and upset. And I think this just plays straight into what we've been saying, that it's almost, we've been saying that Fatima has been kind of leading Julie on, and the fact that Julie's upset here I think proves that is the case.
Yep.
Because if it wasn't, then why the hell would Julie care about Fatima kissing someone else?
Exactly. This proves everything that we've been and it just also proves that this colony house is just fucking weird. Well, yeah, that was nothing. That was alright. Just some fat bastard.
It's everyone looks at Victor.
No wonder Ellis is drinking.
Everyone looks at Victor as if he's the weird one, when in reality he's probably the most normal guy there.
Jump in my lunchbox.
So we see Julie upset, and she's not happy that Fatima was kissing someone else. I think Ellis is too drunk.
You see, if you're being honest, right? Even take out the fact that Julie may like Fatima, I think it's just weird. Full stop. No, I think so.
Yeah.
Even if she just viewed Fatima as a friend, I think there is a case of, well, what are you doing? You've just jobbed Ellis out, or this person's 25 years older than you and ugly.
Yeah, so that happens. We then see Boyd. He tells Catry that he's going to go, he's leaving, he's packing up, he's going to go into the woods, but Father Catry's like, no, Officer Boyd, you can't go anywhere. I've got something to show you. You might want to stick around to see this. He gives him a bag. Boyd opens the bag. He takes out the bottle of drink. He's like, oh, damn, you've been holding it on us, priest. Then he takes out the bloody shirt. He looks at it, and he's like, is this yours? And he's like, I don't mean the shirt, I mean the blood.
No, I meant the chocolate bar, come on.
And then Father Catry's like, there's one more item in there. And then he takes the next one out, and it's a bar of chocolate, and it's like, what a downgrade. We go from a bloody shirt to a bar of chocolate. What's Officer Boyd supposed to think of this?
I know, and he's like, what the hell are you getting at, Father?
And he's like, what the hell is this? And then he reveals the bombshell that, why are you showing me this? Because I've got Sarah locked up in my basement. And then Boyd pulls the gun on Father Catry. Father Catry seems confused, like, you're going to pull a gun on me, Boyd? And he's like, yeah, keep talking.
Keep talking, man. But no wonder he pulls a gun on him, because it's completely extreme lengths. That he thinks that he's just contradicting himself about, I've just put Frank in the box, but here you are with Sarah in your basement, no longer in the box.
It's a fair point, though, because, I mean, Father Catry was the one that basically tried to convince Boyd, look, no, he has to go in the box no matter what happens. You have to be strong, you have to go through, you have to stick with your convictions. You have to put this guy in the box to show leadership, and so that everybody else knows that there will be consequences for their actions. Father Cartry, though, is adamant that they need to keep Sarah, that she could be the key to getting out of there, because she knows there's voices in her head, and those same voices that told her to do those terrible things, they know about his bag, and they're basically spying on them. So the voices are legit. That is the point that Father Cartry is trying to tell Boyd. Boyd freaks out, and he's like, so you're trying to tell me the voices that are in her head that are trying to help us get home, how are they trying to help us? By killing a little boy and an old man. So Father Cartry must have revealed that she did indeed kill not only Nathan, but essentially left the door open, that killed Kenny's father, that killed the nurse that worked there, and killed probably Toby as well. So Sarah's got a lot of blood on her hands. But speaking of blood on their hands, we go back to the colony house and we see Kevin letting in his monster friend, which is not a good idea. I don't understand what Kevin was thinking here. Did he think that this one was a friendly monster and it was going to come in and be his girlfriend and they were going to be happily ever after? They would spend each night with each other in a fucking bathroom hiding. Is that what he honestly thought? Gets in. The monster, though, doesn't kill him straight away. The monster almost acts as if, the way she was acting outside, as if she is this sweet little woman, and then when they're like making out, you can see she starts like scratching slowly into his back, and then those scratches just turn into like slices, and we just see the slices on Kevin's back. He tries to pull away, but she's like biting his tongue, and then when he falls back, she completely bites the tongue out of his mouth, leaving Kevin
tongueless,
bleeding in the corner. Then she finishes him off and opens the window to allow more of our people in.
And what's Kevin's end game here? Like, well, he's going to have a relationship with a monster in a bathroom that's like smaller than a closet, because he can't bring her into the house, because then people will be like, well, that's obviously one of those demons, and why would it? I mean, also, it's just a bit stupid that this guy's been here for this amount of time, and he's like, it's alright, we can just let one in.
Well, we don't really know how long Kevin's been here, to be fair.
No, he only did appear last episode, but you know what? Never trust a guy with specs and that tash, so...
Yeah, that's basically... Then we've got some old guy who we don't really know. He's talking about what this place is. He's talking about dimensions. Ellis is drunk. He doesn't appreciate what he's saying. He basically tells the guy to shut up. And, you know, Ellis, I think, is in the wrong here, because he is like attacking this guy, but then the guy takes it too far, and he talks about, you know, somebody needs to keep an eye on that kid before he starts shooting this place up. And Donna does not appreciate this.
Was there race involved in that, or was that just a wee dig at Ellis?
No, it was a dig at his mother.
Oh, wow, you're right.
Jesus Christ.
But we didn't know it by this point.
We didn't, but I mean, I guess the way Donna reacts and decks him, like, I think you can tell that it was a personal insult.
I thought it was racism. There you go.
No, I don't think it was racism. So Ellis then goes to his room. He storms off. Donna says to this guy, look, I don't want to fucking see you for the rest of the night. And Donna packs a punch, like.
Aye, she's not.
Victor packs a packed lunch and Donna packs a punch.
She packs a packed lunch.
We then see Fatima. She approaches Trini. Trini's upset. Trini says, like, I'm not going to get this party when I'm here a year because nobody likes me. She says to Fatima, I know you don't like me. Fatima's like, that's not true. And I guess, I don't think Fatima does really like her. Maybe it's because she steals all the clothes. But Fatima then goes, here, you can have this. She gives her favourite yellow cardigan. And then she tells Trini, who's obviously delighted at this stage, that it looks better on you. And Trini's like, oh, really? And then she says, I'm going to get something for you. So Trini wanders off looking for an item.
It's a pillow!
For Fatima, which turns out to be a big mistake. We then see Julie approaching Fatima after Trini leaves, and she says, why did you kiss that girl down there? I thought you and Ellis were a thing. Fatima goes, yeah, Ellis is my person. Well, even that just sounds weird.
Yeah, it just sounds like a weird liberal...
Is this some sort of liberal we can't use, like, gender, like, terms? Like, oh, he's my boyfriend? What was this? He's my person.
Ellis is my person, but the fat ugly bastard is...
That was just
not a person, brother.
That's just a bit of fun. Then Julie says, could we have fun? Could you kiss me? And then she says she's joking, even though she's obviously not. Fatima's like, no, it's okay, but Julie's panicking and she runs off.
No wonder the groomer was about to get groomed there.
But speaking of grooming, Julie then runs into knocks Victor's door.
Victor gets a big part of this house.
Victor, yeah, he does.
He gets like a third of the upstairs.
He gets to live on his own, unlike everyone else.
Alright.
Julie asks, "Can I come into your room?" And Victor's like, "I'd rather you didn't." And she's like, "Please, it's the only place where I can be alone." So she comes in, starts pestering Victor about drawings and stuff like this, and Victor's just not having it. All Victor wants is peaches. He doesn't want all Victor wants. All that Victor wants is peaches. He doesn't really care about. I mean, I feel like this guy. It's like kids seem to be attracted to him. It's not the other way about. Yeah,
kids.
Yeah, you'd make out as if he's the one attracted to them and chasing them. Albeit he does try and chase down Ethan because of the information that he could know. But again, when you see her heading to his room, if someone like walked in, it would just look a bit weird, wouldn't it? And it's not his fault. I mean, he's done nothing wrong.
Feeble-minded. God help Victor.
We then see Trini. Then she is looking for her pillow. She finds her pillow. She's like, "Oh, I'm going to give you to a better place now." But she spots someone in the room. She goes to see if they're okay. "Why are you not downstairs enjoying the party?" And when she walks in, turns round, it's a monster. She tries to go back, but there's a monster behind the door. The creepiest looking monster, in my opinion. It's like the guy with the big smiley face.
Yeah, he's got a big massive jawline. It's just a big bulky face.
And then there's like 4 or 5 of them in the room, and they surround Trini, and then Trini basically dies and gets ripped apart. So yeah, Trini was going to give her pillow to Fatima, and then now she's dead.
Dead. No pillow. Pillow's got blood on it.
Monsters have stolen the pillow, so yeah, that's not good for them. Then we go back to the station. Firecatcher's like, "Look, if you're going to go out there, you can take me, you can take Sarah, and together we can try and find something. These voices are legit. They mean something, Boyd. We got to go together." Back in the Matthews house, we see they're digging. I mean, what are they trying to dig here? How deep are they going to dig?
Well, see, they just want to find where these cables go, but again, you can't dig forever. It's not like you have an elevator shaft, or I mean, I guess you could just constantly go down on a staircase, dig yourself your own staircase, but this could actually make the house collapse. It's dangerous, but I guess it's a risk worth taking.
We then see Boyd, and he is being told by Kenny dinner's ready. He's like, "Nah, don't want dinner." Then Kenny's mum comes up, starts shouting at him.
"Jade, get down here!"
In Chinese. Then he has to. It's like, okay. So I guess that's the whole kind of angry, crazy Asian woman thing. Stereotype.
It is, but the book is opened, and there is a picture stuck in between 2 pages.
Yeah, so he's drawn on Kenny's book. Kenny's pissed that he's been drawing on his book, but he finds 2 pages stuck together, and a photo falls out of Victor. So they see a young Victor from a long...
Does this mean anything though? Like, is this like groundbreaking, or is this just someone's took a picture and it's in the book?
I guess we'll find it.
Because you always got cameras like that were, can just print it straight after, so...
We then see the old guy that got punched by Donna. He's sitting there complaining, "I didn't really do anything wrong. Why is Donna taking his side?" All of a sudden, blood starts to drip on him from above, and he looks up, and we see the monsters, and basically the monsters are in the house, and everybody starts to freak out, and rightfully so. We've got people running outside. That's not what you're supposed to do. You're not supposed to run outside, but I guess once they get inside, I mean, you're probably safer making a run for it.
Yeah, it's weird how the tables turn, because obviously these things don't run, they just walk, and therefore, if you're outside and you're running, it's pretty hard to actually get caught by these things. I think the only real way to actually get properly caught here is if you
run into a dead end or run out of stamina.
Yeah, but even if you run out of stamina, I mean, you can still walk. So it just depends how...
Yeah, but if there's a lot of them, you could get cornered, I guess.
That's it though, we haven't seen an insane amount of them.
We did see a decent amount though walking through the forest when she opened the window.
Yeah.
Now, it's impossible to tell. I'd say at least a dozen, maybe more.
Aye.
And she opened the window.
No, but I mean, say these guys run out here and there's 200 of them. Alright, it's a different game even if they are walking. But, again, like you said, there's probably about... I'd probably say there's been... At most in this, probably about 20. Maybe there's more coming from the forest. Maybe the fact the window opened, all the ones in the forest, like, we gotta get to the window.
But we haven't seen obscene amount of numbers yet. We haven't seen, like, hundreds. So... I mean, maybe that gives you a chance.
Which, of course, I think if they're going to do that, that will be saved for later seasons. You can't just whip out 10,000 of these things.
No, it's like The Walking Dead. Start off with a small amount of zombies and then get to season 6, show thousands and claim it's the best thing ever seen on TV.
This is it.
Donna then shouts at everyone to grab your partner. So I guess they've got partners. I guess everyone's partnered up. Grab your partner.
Get the fan.
Get on the bus or get on the fan. And it's like this little mini fan and you've got
holds about 10 people.
But I think the entire house was trying to get into the minifan. We then see Fatima running about outside looking for Ellis, looking for Julie. Victor's like to Julie, look, we got to go. And he basically throws her down the window. He gets like this wooden rope. Or not wooden rope, it's like a rope. It's like a rope bridge with wood through it. I think, was it not wood? I think there was wood for like steps.
It's not a wooden rope.
Well, whatever. It was a rope.
It's a rope with steps.
He's like, you go down, I'll follow you. Julie gets to the ground. Victor goes to the ground. Julie wants to run into town, but Victor's like, nah, it's not safe. And he spots the boy in white in the woods, and he's like, we need to head for the woods. So again, we've got Victor dragging Julie into the woods, and someone sees this, and it's just, I mean, it doesn't look good for Victor, but he's trying to help, so it's all good in the hood. We then see the people getting on to the bus. They drive off. Ellis is still in the house after managing to sneak past a couple of the monsters. One corners him in the room, but he grabs the TV, smashes it through a window, jumps out. I think injures himself in the process. I don't know if he like gets cut with glass, but he definitely seems to like hurt his leg or something.
It seems like he hurts his leg, but then the injury appears to be like a dislocated shoulder.
And he also seemed to be stabbed. Or maybe it was a bit of glass pierced him. I'm not too sure, but he's not in good shape. Then Fatima manages to grab him, and they're surrounded at this stage. It doesn't look good. He's not very mobile. You think maybe they're going to die, but she happened to have a talisman on her, so they go inside the door, and it's like a little perch, I guess, where... What do you call that?
Porch?
No, once you go inside.
The reception?
Yeah, it's like a reception, I guess, a small reception. It's like really not that big, maybe about 2 meters between the front door and the door that actually leads into the house. And she manages to get in there and put the talisman up, and it works. So they can't get in, and I guess they just have to see it out at the end of the night where they're stuck in this little...
Absolutely terrifying.
Yeah, this little room. We then see the bus get back to the town, and Father Catry and Boyd are like, what the hell is that? And they go outside to see, and it's Donna. Donna's in a bus, and she's got a bus load of colony people. And they need help, so they try and get them into the office. The
post office.
The post office, like, right, look, we need to get in here, we're on out of time. So they're getting them in. Boyd wants to know, where's Ellis? But Donna's like, I don't know where he is, I don't know if he's okay, I don't know if he's dead, I don't know. She doesn't know anything about Ellis. Father Catry then is getting the last person in, but some other person calls out to him. He turns around to give them help, but it turns out it was like one of the monsters mimicking a person in distress, and they slash Father Catry's throat, essentially. Not killing him instantly, but it's a fatal wound. Boyd then shoots the monster a few times and manages to drag Father Catry into the post office where they lock it, and he tries to save him, but he's losing so much blood. Father Catry wants Boyd to say a prayer with him, so Boyd gives a prayer, he confesses and all that shit, does a prayer.
Father that art in heaven, our daily bread.
Daily bread. He does a prayer, and Father Catry...
Can't he finish his own prayer, though?
Yeah, Father Catry can't finish it before dying with, I guess, blood loss. And that is how we end the episode, with Boyd holding on to Father Catry in his arms, watching him as he dies. So yeah, time for the rating time then.
Easily the biggest death so far.
I was not expecting Father Catry to die at this stage. I thought he was going to be a mainstay character, or at least make it to season 2. I feel like Father Catry in the last couple of episodes was getting a lot more screen time, and maybe that is a sign that he was going to die. But for me, when a character's getting more screen time, it's normally a sign of they're getting more important and they're more valuable to the show. But we have seen in previous shows, The Walking Dead, for example, it was almost like a meme that whenever you got an episode that was like basically featured around you, you were going to die.
You were dead. Especially when it said previously, and then like the whole previous package was your life.
Yeah, so Father Catry is gone. What did you make of the episode though? I thought it was a really good episode.
I'll give it a 9.
A 9. I enjoyed it. Was it as good as the premiere? I'm not sure. It was different from the premiere. I felt like there was a lot of action. I felt like there was a lot of stuff going on. Obviously in the colony house you had mayhem going on. But I also enjoyed the conversation between Boyd and Father Catry throughout the night in the office. My least favourite thing is probably the Matthews family.
Yeah,
I'm just not really interested in this. We're digging this. I just don't really...
Well, I'm a bit interested in it, but I don't think it actually needed to be in this episode.
Yeah,
like, if they're digging, that's fair enough. But let's just see the end result rather than, we're digging.
We're digging. Anyway, we'll find out what they dig next episode. You're giving it a 9. I am going to give it I'll give it an 8.
8.5.
8.5 out of 10, guys. And who did we lose officially? We lost Kevin. We lost Trini. We lost Father Catry. And I believe we lost a bunch of other
11 other people.
Unknown names. I mean, so, well, I think 14 died at the Colony House, so maybe 15 in total. Since Father Catry's not at the Colony House.
15 then, sounds about right.
15 people, guys. Rest in peace to them all. Biggest deaths so far in terms of numbers in an episode. And we'll find out who dies next time in episode 8, which is called Broken Windows, Open Doors. That's it though. For Fog Entertainment, catch you in the next one. Leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe, and peace. Did somebody say flashback? Welcome back, guys, to Fog Entertainment. It is episode 8, season 1 of From. This one is called Broken Windows, Open Doors. And I think it's fair to say that this was a heavy featured Boyd episode, but also a heavy featured flashback episode because it showed Boyd arriving at the town. It showed Boyd integrating into the town. And it kind of showed Boyd taking leadership and being the one that was most likely to save the people in the town. It showed that he was the first person to venture off into the woods. He was the first person to find the talisman. He was the first person to find supplies, find livestock. It basically showed here that this place, before Boyd arrived, was a shithole. And while it's not great now with Boyd there, it's still not ideal. Everybody still wants to go home, but this place is a lot better and a lot safer with Sheriff Boyd than it was before Sheriff Boyd. Is that fair?
Yes, that's very fair. Makes you wonder how people like Victor have survived for so long. But then again, he did know about the faraway trees, so maybe he's knew about them a while. Maybe Victor just couldn't be arsed bringing a goat back. Maybe that's Victor's problem. He'd rather just pack out his lunchbox with peaches rather than a wee goat.
Possibly.
But you know what, I think it just shows you, right? See people that are military, man, you can just tell here, this is good acting, how you can go feel like... You see initially watching...
He wants to make something happen, you know, he's not content just sitting back. Oh, alright, we'll just...
Yeah, but see initially watching the show, you might just think, fuck, maybe this guy's just the guy that took control, but you could clearly see here, in this episode, that him, and maybe less so his wife, were in the military, and they were, like, up for the task, and then his wife's arse kind of went...
Yeah, you can kind of see when... Father Catry's looking at him for 5 minutes, and he's like, yeah, this is the new leader of this town. This is the man that we need.
This is him.
So it appears before that, it was almost, would you say, like a joint thing between Father Catry and Donna?
Yeah, and then Boyd came and went, this is my town.
This is my
time
town.
is now.
However, I don't know, I would argue, before Boyd got there would have been no colony house. Now, it might have existed as a house, but you wouldn't have had people staying there because there was no talisman.
Yeah. Literally,
so,
it would have been just sitting in the ground.
Now, I don't think we see how the two grounds come to, you know, the split happens. I don't think we see that, but I think it's fair to say it must happen after.
I think we'll see how that happens. I would say that would happen after a defining moment this episode, but we'll get to that a wee bit later on.
Possibly. So, rather than just try and work our way through this, it was heavy flashbacks, so what we're going to do is we will review all the flashbacks first, in chronological order, and then we'll move on to the present stuff, because like I said, I'm not complaining because I like flashbacks, and I don't think every episode can be like this, but I certainly don't think there's any harm in having one episode like this a season. Plus, it was actually nice to see Father Catry in this episode, even though he'd previously just died in the one before.
Yes, and also I feel like these sort of flashbacks, especially in a show like this, explaining how everyone else got here, is good.
Yeah,
but for example, though, I don't think you can do this with every character that's here.
No, it has to be
someone relevant.
Yeah, we don't really.
If this was Nathan, or maybe Nathan Sarah a wee bit more relevant. But see, if this was like,
let's say Trini, and she's she's arriving with her pillow in the passenger seat. I mean, do we really need to see that?
No,
I don't think so. But we start off the episode with Boyd, his wife, and Ellis. They're driving about town, and the first thing I noticed straight away was it was a lot darker when they were getting here. So they must have been they were almost one of the unlucky ones that arrived at nightfall.
Yep. And also, I think Ellis's demeanour here, he just looks like the kid in the back.
He does.
Compared to what he is in the actual show, he just feels a bit...
He seems to have changed a lot. Boyd is talking about his retirement and how he wants a boat and how they could work on the finances, how they could make it happen. His wife Abby's like, is one of the finance options not to pay it? because that's basically, you know, the only option that she's willing to take. Boyd's like, you know, well, it would help me. It'd be a good retirement gift. It'd help me transition. And she's like, no, it's not going to happen. She then is looking for something in her bag, and she takes out something and says, here, Boyd, can you hold this for me? Boyd then holds it, and he looks at it, and he's like, is this boat keys? He gets excited. He's like, did you buy the boat? And they're like, yeah, we bought the boat. So after basically teasing Boyd and pretending that they were not going to buy the boat, they bought Boyd this boat. And we see these boat keys throughout the series, so maybe this is why we are, you know, Boyd is so hell-bent and holding on to these keys.
Yeah, but it'd be interesting to know how close they were to the boat. Even though the boat's probably a completely different location to where they are, but maybe, I think these keys will play a big factor at some point.
Well, when I originally seen them, I thought it was the keys for the box.
Yep, and it's no for the box, it's for Pope's boat. Pope's boat? I mean, Boyd's boat.
Does the box even have a lock? It would have to, wouldn't it?
It had a padlock.
Could he have taken, maybe I'm just making this up, but could Boyd have taken the boat keys and put the
Another set
box
of keys on?
When he first went to put Frank in the box, he lifts these. But could it just be that he doesn't want to put Frank in the box, so he's trying to think of his wife? Or could it be, like we see in this episode, he knows what he done to his wife, therefore he has to do the same to Frank?
Yeah, that's probably what it is. That could be it. Or maybe it's just, maybe it is.
Although we could argue his wife was much of a bigger threat than Frank was.
Yeah, Frank was just an idiot. His wife, big threat, Marine.
We see them getting into the town. It's like there's written on one of the barns, "Save us." And they're like, "What the hell is this shit?" We then see Fowler Catry. He runs out in front of their truck, and Boyd's like, "What the hell are you doing? You're trying to get yourself killed." He's like, "Look, you got to believe me. I know you're not going to believe me. I wouldn't believe me, but you have to listen to me. We are going to die if we don't get you out of this car and get into a hiding spot." We then see Abby pointing a gun at Fowler Catry. She tells Boyd just to drive on, and as Boyd goes to drive on, we hear like these screeches, these like screams from the monsters coming out into...
No, I noticed though, it wasn't actually that dark here. It was turning dark, but we've seen them outside way darker than this. So maybe...
No, I don't think they were out yet. I think maybe they were screaming as like a warning thing.
Could be.
Because they used to... Remember, they did mention that they don't screech anymore once they found the talisman.
Maybe.
But maybe this screeching was like a warm-up thing. Maybe when they were getting ready to commit to the dark, this was
the main event.
Could be. So they hide underground. It's basically like a trap door with like fake grass on it. It's a good hiding spot. No, the only problem is if the monsters find it, they know what it is.
Yeah, that is the only thing. Like, there's not even an escape route. It's literally, see if the monsters lift this up, you're dead.
Yeah. You are fucked. So they get out, and the first thing Boyd sees the next day is all these dead bodies, and he basically knows now, look, this isn't a trick, I'm not being fooled here, Fowler Catry isn't some insane priest, there's literally monsters killing everyone. And straight away, Boyd starts showing leadership skills, he starts breaking things down, says we're all going to work together as a community, we're all going to do things and pull our weight and try and find a way home. Boyd then asks Fowler Catry about the forest and do they live there during the day. Fowler Catry's like, we don't know, no one's ever been brave enough to go into the forest. And
may as well be the navy guy that goes in.
Boyd's like,
army.
Boyd thinks they should go in and have a look and then have it investigate, but Fowler Catry's like, good luck finding volunteers willing to do that. So we see Boyd, he starts going in by himself and he starts finding things. He finds a goat, which he seems very excited about.
Yeah, a wee bit overexcited.
I found a goat, guys. Look at this. It's a goat.
It's a goat.
So Boyd brings the goat back and he gives it to Fowler Catry. He's like, look after this goat. But Ellis is like, look, Dad, I think this place is beginning to get to Mum. Maybe you need to stop going out there and let someone else go. But the problem is no one else is willing to go out, really. Even though Boyd has discovered that it's safe during the day, we don't really see anyone else willing to go out into the forest, so it kind of has to be up to Boyd to do this.
Yeah.
Now, at this stage, Victor might be going into the forest, but
we don't know that. Alice doesn't know that.
We don't see him, and I don't think Victor. I wouldn't say Victor's a team player. He's a bit of a loner. So I mean, even if he does go into the forest, it doesn't. I don't feel like he's going in there to look for things. He's
going in there to look at lunchbox material.
Yeah. So what else does Boyd find when he's in the forest?
He finds a dog.
He does find a dog. Does he not find other stuff though?
He found chickens.
He found supplies, didn't he? Like materials.
Aye, like random materials, yeah, but he finds the main event a wee bit later on.
Alright, so he finds a dog and he tries to chase the dog. The dog runs away, and we seen that he was in the forest. He was like marking the trees with arrows so he wouldn't get lost, but when he chased the dog, he did get lost. And all of a sudden...
He gets like disorientated.
Yeah.
And then he starts hearing voices, and then he gets absolutely confused and like mumble jumble, and then he's trying to make his way back.
But it's getting night, it's getting dark, and he sees the monsters, and he's backing away from the monsters, and the monsters are closing in on him. He seems to trip, and he falls through this hedge that takes him into like a what would you even call this? Like a
opening a cave.
A cave, like a little mini cave with a bush as a door. And then we see all the monsters come up to the bush, look through the bush, but they don't come in. They just stare at Boyd, and then they give up rather easily. I thought maybe they would have just stayed there until... stayed there the whole night.
Which would have been really creepy.
Looking at Boyd.
How fucking shite would that have been?
But... fortunately for Boyd, they don't. They just walk off, and Boyd doesn't know why. He gets up, he looks around the cave, and he finds this talisman on the cave, and he lifts it off. And at this thought, I thought, what's he done? That's him dead, because they're going to come back. However, it turns out the cave is filled with talisman, and that is how Boyd was essentially...
he's found this technique that's going to keep him alive, potentially.
So he groups up all the talisman, he gets them in a bag, and he rushes back to town. But when he gets there, he hears gunshots. Bang, 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 bang. He doesn't understand what's happening. He sees some dead bodies. Then he looks and he sees Abby. He's like, Abby, what are you doing? Abby's shooting people. Abby's like, this isn't real. And she's like, the fact that you were out all night and you came back, that proves this isn't real. But she was killing people anyway, so she obviously was committed to the fact that it wasn't real.
See, this is a bit extreme here. You know what? Probably the most shocking thing of the show. I mean, I can accept deaths, like Big Father dying last episode, but I did not see this. I thought his wife would have just died. But then, the whole reveal of her being a Marine, this is way more fitting than, oh, she got caught outside and she just died. I feel like this was like more of a Marine.
PTSD or something?
Like PTSD, the war thing kicking in, she's just dropping people left, right and centre. But realistically, right, even if Boyd gets her to put down the gun, she's getting killed.
Yeah.
What can happen here?
Back here there is no box.
But what's the end game? They would be banished for the town.
Did the box get invented for this, because of this situation?
Probably. I mean, she drops about 6 people.
I'd say more than that. She's about to drop Donna, but
she drops about 6 people that we see.
Yeah,
before
Boyd's
that.
like, no, I can't. Don't do it. And she's like, look, none of this is real. It's okay. This is all going to end soon. Then Ellis runs out. She raises the gun at Ellis. Ellis shouts, "Mom, don't do it!" And before she can pull the trigger, we see Boyd basically just shooting his wife, killing her dead. And now we know why Ellis is so resentful against his father Boyd, because he killed his mom. But
a bit stupid, because she literally went on a murdering spree. I get maybe initially if he was aware that she was pointing guns at people. I don't get why Ellis had such a problem with Boyd, honestly.
And if Boyd didn't do it, Ellis wouldn't be around to hold a grudge.
I know. See if Boyd just turned around and said, "Yo, I'm sorry I killed her," but see, at the end of the day, you'd be dead if I didn't. So how about you know your role and shut your mouth, jabroni? I don't actually get Ellis's problem. To me, I'm a very big fan of this show, but Ellis's resentment and hate towards his dad here makes no sense. I get it, right? He's got to put the guilt somewhere, and I understand that to a degree, but this is ludicrous. How can he honestly fucking blame him for this?
Yeah, I don't get it. We then see...
The only thing he could maybe blame him for is why didn't you pull the trigger sooner? Because I guess by the time he arrived, she'd killed maybe 2 or 3 people while Boyd was there.
I don't think that's what Ellis is going for.
No, that's not what he's going for. But if he tried to spin it that way, you could maybe see it. But no, I'm not buying it.
I think, if anything, I think Donna could be angry and say to Boyd, "What took you so long? She had the gun drawn on me."
To be fair to Boyd, maybe he initially got there. He's thinking, "Fucking, she's shooting monsters." Maybe.
Yeah, maybe. But then again, they don't come out in the day, so...
I know, but maybe... It's a weird world.
It's a weird world. Who knows what could happen? Did we cover everything with the flashbacks?
That's pretty much it. I mean,
or is that it?
She did... the mum, his wife, did say that she saw this similar sort of dream when she was 6. But what is this? Is she just went insane, or is this to actually do with being a Marine and PTSD? I'll be intrigued. I don't know if it's going to be go into deeper, but I felt like this was a fitting flashback, and it was a really good flashback, and it makes sense looking at the two characters that we got.
It did. In the current world, we go back, I guess.
It's the aftermath of the night before.
Yeah, Boyd.
Absolute massacre.
Yeah, so everyone is... To sum it all up, basically the town folk, the colony folk are being moved in to houses with the town folk, and a lot of them are not happy about this, especially Jade. He's like, oh, now we have more people living with us, and he just doesn't want... And there's a big fatty, and they said a joke about we're going to have to go easy on the supplies, and I just thought it was weird with this big fat ass in the background that they brought that up.
Yeah, and then she was on about to him. But aren't you the guy that thought this was a big escape room? He's like, fuck you.
He storms off.
And then he goes, did you see, what's his name? Pedo.
Victor.
Aye, did you see Victor? And he went chasing after the...
He dragged the Matthews girl
into the forest.
Then we go to the Matthews house, and they're like, Julie, how did you escape the colony house? What happened? She goes, I was in Victor's room, and it was like, holy fuck, Victor's just been...
It sounds bad, that, and then she's like, then he took me into the forest, and Jim's like, can it get any worse? It was me, Andy.
I tell you what, is Jim ever actually going to go up to Victor and apologise? I've got a feeling if Victor sees Jim, he's still going to be pissed off him.
I know.
But we'll find out. But someone he is pissed off with is Boyd. Boyd comes bursting into the house, and Jade comes bursting into the house, and Jim's finally had enough, grabs him, throws him outside, like, don't you come in, my daughter's just been through hell. And he's like, alright, okay, I get it, you're being a protective father, but I need to talk to you. But Jim basically shuts him down before saying, look, your plan worked. And now Boyd and Jim know that they got static. It's not great, but they know they got something. They then go to speak to Donna. They ask for permission if they can build on the colony house. Donna's like, yeah, whatever, I just lost 14 people last night, do what you want.
Yeah, and I think that's the colony house out of commission for a while. Don't many people are going to want to live there, which is fair enough, but again...
Yeah, then we see at the diner, people are trying to get in and get all the supplies. The barman, whose name I cannot remember, but the bartender's like...
He was a teacher, he was a smart guy, apparently.
Oh, yeah, he was a smart guy. All these colony house people are trying to, steal... They're trying to take all our food, they're trying to take all our supplies, so we're going to go in here and get them fast. And there's a big argument, and then Boyd kind of tries to, like, look, we'll settle this, we'll stop this, we'll work something out. Then Boyd is telling Kenny that you need to step up now, I need you to be the man. And then we see Kenny essentially tell the town folk, look, we're going to get through this together, we have to work with each other, not against each other.
We're going to do it.
Yeah, we are going to do it.
We're going to do it, Kenny. And Ellis is sitting in his wee hospital bed in the clinic, and Boyd says, well, you know what, Sarah, I've got one wee thing I've got to do before we go on this magical adventure together. And he basically tells her, I thought he was going to bury Ellis here for being like a moody wee bastard. But
I thought he should have laid out the truth. It's like, what happened wasn't my fault. But he basically just tells Ellis, look, you're always going to be my father. I mean, I'm always going to be your father. You're always going to be my son.
And I'm proud of the man you become.
Yeah.
Rhymes are sick.
Even if you're not proud of me.
Wait, I know what. How is he proud of the guy? Wait, he can still be proud of Ellis's son, but what? He's disowned you for something like this? I mean, I understand why he's saying it. It's the final farewell, but I feel like Boyd deserved a wee bit of comeuppance here.
He did. Boyd then leaves. He tells Christy, I'll see you. This is not a goodbye. I will be back. Arnold Schwarzenegger style. Then Boyd goes and meets up with Sarah, and he's like, right, that's us, we're going into the woods, I'm taking you with me. He's still not happy with Sarah. He's like, look, try anything, and I won't hesitate to shoot. He also explained earlier in the episode that Father Cattry died, and that he's dead, and that loads of people are dead because of Sarah. So it's obvious that Boyd doesn't trust Sarah.
Which is fair enough.
And she's like, look, you can trust me, I won't do anything, I'm not going to run away. Which she didn't, because earlier, like, when he hid her in this, like, hut thing, she could have left. There was nothing for him to handcuff her to, but she stayed.
Yeah, she did, and she stays in here for a wee bit longer, because Ellis has followed Boyd to the forest. And it's time to reveal that I'm sorry.
Well, it's Fatima. Fatima first approaches Ellis and says, look, you need to go and speak to your father, or else you'll regret this for the end of your life.
That was fair enough for Fatima. Probably the best thing she's done all fucking season.
Right.
And then What's he do? He goes in, one-winged angel, goes into the forest and basically doesn't break down, but he admits he was wrong and I had to place that guilt somewhere and I placed it on you, I'm sorry. And then, like, I thought this relationship was healed, it's mended, and then when he spots Sarah, I was like, fuck, this Alice guy's probably going to go off on one here.
What you doing with her? It's like, hey, I need her, she's important. She hears things. Boyd then explains to Ellis that he will explain everything to him when he gets back, but right now he needs to keep Sarah alive and he needs to take Sarah on this journey with him. That's basically it. Then we see him going back to the house. That's it. He goes back to the town and Jim is in the town. He's explaining to everyone about how the radio tower works and he needs the town people to help him build this tower on the colony house. So we get that.
Really? Should everyone not have general knowledge about how a fucking radio tower works? He's explaining how we're going to put it on the roof and we're going to transmit past himself.
Yeah, I suppose.
I mean, did he really? He dumbed it down, like.
And then the episode ends with the wee boat song that was on at the beginning.
Pony on the water.
And Sheriff Boyd then ventures off deeper into the woods with Sarah by his side.
That's Victor. Didn't see Victor.
That is the end of the episode. We didn't see Victor.
Victor did.
Is Victor still... Wait, we did see Victor. No, wait, we didn't see Victor, so maybe the faraway tree took him somewhere else, or maybe he didn't make it into a faraway tree, or maybe he is dead, I don't know.
Maybe they just took the lunchbox and spat him out.
I don't think Victor would have died off screen, though. I think he's a pretty important character, so I'm going to say Victor's still alive.
I think he'll bump into the two amigos in the forest next episode.
Maybe Victor will bump...
a wee packed lunch.
Yeah, maybe Victor will bump into Boyd and the three of them.
Maybe Boyd hoovers pizzas off him and all the big camping gear he's got.
Could be. Anyway, it's time to rate this episode. I thought it was very different. It was a unique episode. It wasn't like the rest of them. I know the rest of them, I think there was a couple of flashbacks in some episodes, but I mean, this was a heavy flashback episode. So, I mean, it was kind of like split into two.
Yeah. I liked that. I did like this episode. I don't think it's as good as the last one, which got an 8.5. I'm going to give it a 7, and the only reason I'm giving it a 7 is because I would give it an 8, but Ellis holding this resentment to me is a bit stupid, and also his wife going on a murdering spree. It's like,
you said that was realistic.
It was realistic,
and you liked the twist, and you weren't expecting it, but it makes sense.
But I still think there is flaws. I think there is still a couple of flaws with it.
Well, right.
I would have been good to see his wife's downfall rather than like, here, you should probably stay home, Boyd, and the next day she's fucking murdering people.
I know, but how much time do you want him to spend on that, like, really?
But do you know what I mean? Ellis could speak to her. The only thing we seen was her going, I saw this when I was 6, yo.
Well, I thought they'd done a good job of that. You know what?
Did a good job.
I'm going to get an 8. I'll get an 8. So,
right, 7.5.
7.5, guys, out of 10. That is it. We'll catch you for the next one. Episode 9, it's called Into the Woods. And that's exactly where Sheriff Boyd and Sarah are going. We'll catch you in the next one. Until then, though, peace. We're going into the woods with Sheriff Boyd and Sarah, and that is also the episode title of today's Season 1, Episode 9 review of From. Welcome back, guys, to Fog Entertainment. It is the penultimate episode of Season 1. It is From. It is Into the Woods, and there's only 2 episodes remaining of this season. We've got quite a lot of deaths stacking up until this point. We've got another death in this episode, not really groundbreaking. I don't think we're going to shed too many tears. I actually had no idea who it was up until this episode. So, I mean, I think he's maybe just a character that they threw in there, but we'll discuss him, of course, later on when we get into the review. But yeah, with 2 episodes to go, what do you make of Season 1 so far? Are you enjoying Season 1?
Season 1 has been very good.
I think Season 1 picked up over the last couple of episodes as well. I felt like...
Might be about to go downhill a wee bit, but...
I felt like it started really strong and then took a couple of episodes... No, I wouldn't say took a couple of episodes off. I think the last couple of episodes weren't that great, but I think we go back into 6, 7 and 8 and I felt like they did pick up a lot. So, yeah, let's get into episode 9 then, and we again start with Boyd and Sarah. They are in the woods. And they get to the place where Boyd first found the talismans, and they set this up as a point of reference. Sarah says we should go further on. There's still time left, but Boyd's like, no, nobody. I've never been further than this. Nobody. It's been further than this part right here. So I'm not going to leave with just a couple hours of daylight left. So they decide to stay there for the night, which I guess is kind of smart, because, I mean, you wouldn't want to venture into unknown territory when the nightfall is, upon you. And
It's about to get dark. Real dark.
yeah,
Void dark.
pretty much, yep.
That's pretty much where we're going. But you know what? This is a good wee spot to camp, so why not do it? Why not do it?
Yeah, why not do it? Then back in the town, we have the colony folks there being... There's a bunch of them being put into the post office. We've got the old guy who was picking a fight and basically says that Ellis's mum is a crazy gun freak. He's complaining about how they're all down here and he doesn't like it, and he's like giving up hope, and Donna's telling him, look, don't be a jackass, get your ass in there. They wake up the next day and they're screaming. Does that mean that there's a monster in here? No, it means that someone has hanged themselves. Now, I'm not too sure who it was. I don't even know if he had a name.
I think it was Eric.
Eric.
I think it definitely was Eric. Eric Clapton.
Eric, he hanged himself in the cell. Donna looks up and she wasn't very impressed.
I tell you what, right? It's the first time I felt in this show that this death just did nothing for me. Of every death, this did nothing. I know you could say, oh, well, this showed Donna's breaking point. I couldn't give a fuck about Donna's breaking point. I just feel like we just had people massacred, and what, this guy, this bum, this is the line that gets drawn in the sand.
Yeah, so again, Donna kind of gives, I don't know, doesn't really break down. She just goes,
Fence off him.
Gets very defensive and just gets distant and kind of just goes and does her own thing here. We see Kenny later in the episode. He's trying to, I guess, console her, but she's like, fuck off. At least Boyd knew when to keep his mouth shut. I guess Kenny's trying to fill that void, but Donna doesn't really want him to lecture her or, give her sympathy or anything like that.
She's basically blaming these previous events because, you people are trying to look away. No, the reason all this shit happens because some prick called Kevin opened the window.
Yeah, she basically then says, look, she's not that bothered about Eric hanging himself. That's not what's bothering her. It's the fact that people are going to get hope. They're going to, latch on to this radio tower thing. And then she thinks when that fails, you're going to get more people like Eric who hang themselves, or more people who go into the night and give up. So she thinks the colony house will never be the same again, and she says, I know you think all we do in the colony house is fucking drink.
That's pretty much what it is.
But the colony house was special. I don't really agree with Donna.
I think this came across as cringy. I know what she's saying is actually probably from the heart, but I just don't like this colony house. I know there'll be a percentage of viewers that's loving this colony house, but I'm all about the town.
Yeah, there's people that are probably watching this going, I'd pick the colony house if it was me, but certainly I'd be staying away from the colony house.
No, I wouldn't be.
I mean, I like Victor, but, well, I say I like him. He's alright. He's the best of a bad bunch.
No, it's weird though, because when the door got opened at the colony house by Kevin, the window, I didn't really was that bothered about people dying. I feel like if it was a house in the town, you'd be like, oh fuck, these people are going to die.
Well, hold on, there's like 2 people in a house and 30 odds or whatever in this colony.
I know, but they're all weird, right? I mean, Richard's alright, but that's about it.
Richard?
Pedo, Archie, what's his name?
Victor?
Jesus Christ. All these pedo names.
So yeah, that basically happens. So
Lunchbox, I'll call him Lunchbox.
Donna's not happy. We go back out into the woods. Sarah has a seizure, and they find bottles with scraps of paper in them, and then Sarah has a seizure. So yeah, we don't know if she's going to be okay. I know of seizure. She already had one in the diner. Now she's had one out in the woods. Back in the town, they are Jim and Jade, or Jade and Jim. Call them Teacup. They've got all the battery power units, and they're trying to figure out how they can power the battery power to the radio, the transmission. It says it's not going to last long, it's going to run out. Jim thinks that when the batteries run out, they can simply just put them back into the cars and charge them up that way, but Jade's going, no, that's a stupid idea because it would require a lot of effort, and how much fuel do they even have left? They can't afford to rely on that, because once the fuel gives up, they are done. And how many working cars do you even have here? It's different. I mean, I just don't know. It's I don't think that's a good idea for Jim. thinking that I guess
it's
it's
a
better.
really stupid idea for Jim.
I guess it's better than nothing.
I mean,
like,
maybe
but-
I'll argue this for Jim's sake. It's like, if you're going to get the radio transmission, it shouldn't take like the 5 days worth of fuel that you've got.
Yeah, you can't. You need a better source of energy than that, because you're probably going to have to try. You know, I'm going to assume it's going to take multiple tries. Not like you're just going to power up and straight away you're going to get communication. And even if you do get communication, you're going to have to stay with that person on the line, I think. And at first, they could think you're bullshitting. They could think it's like a hoax. So, I mean, and he says it would maybe power up for 2 hours at full power. So they're really supposed to try and put power to the radio. And then after 2 hours, when all of these batteries die, they have to take them out to cars. How many working cars do we have? And there was like a lot of batteries here, probably 30 batteries. Are you telling me there's 30 cars that work in the town? Because I haven't seen 30 that work. Apparently the RV still works. Jade's car still works. But, I mean, other than that, I know, like, Sheriff, Boyd, and Kenny had a car that worked, but other than that, I don't think there's many cars that work.
How would he say there's 40 cars?
Well, that's the point I'm trying to make. I don't think there's nowhere near enough, there's not enough batteries. There might have been, like, cars that were there, but, I mean, once they're sitting there stationary, they're going to start working. So
Exactly.
there could be cars, like, I mean, you've got that car that is...
Upside down.
Yeah, I mean, I highly doubt you can get that working to charge a battery. So Jade's like, look, nah, this ain't going to work. Calls him teacup and leaves. And Jade's like, I need to go and figure out my own plan. Jade is then talking to Kenny's mother, Tyne Chen, and he's saying that he needs to get electricity, but he doesn't know how to. He doesn't know how to power the electricity from the house radio tower. Then Tyne Chen gives him the idea to use the electricity from the townhouses. He's going, there is no electricity in the townhouses, but then she shows him the light bulb, and he realizes that just because there's no like electricity units linked to the light bulb, it doesn't really matter, because somehow there's still electricity that's powering it, even though there's nothing plugged in. So he comes to the conclusion that if he plugs something into the accessory, aka the light bulb, then it will still generate that power. And he does that, and it works.
Absolutely insane. He uses a hairdryer.
He uses a hairdryer, so yeah, all of a sudden now they have the power working. We go back into the forest. Sarah has woken up for a seizure. They're in a tent. Sarah explains that the voice she heard this time was a female voice that she's never heard before, and it instructed her to tell Boyd that his plan is a mistake and that there are worse things in the forest rather than monsters. So, I mean, what could that be? Worse things that are worse than monsters. I mean, what could we be talking about here?
Yeah, I don't know, because monsters are pretty shite in this world. Unless it's big giant dogs or something that are like 20 foot tall. Can't really think of anything worse than that. But they do get moved about a lot here, don't they, these two?
Yeah, they make their way, and they make their way further into the...
Well, I'm on about the tent. I'm on about they get moved about in the tent.
Oh yeah, so something like we don't know what it is, but there's like something like almost like attacking the tent from outside. The tent's getting pushed in lots of directions. You almost think like the tent's going to cave in at one point. It's just getting like it's not like wind. It almost looks like there's something like poking at the tent.
Yeah, and also it is clearly getting moved about because they do end up in a different location, and there's a big massive light. But again, like, what's actually doing this? Like, surely if there's that much force moving it, this tent would rip. It's not the biggest tent in the world.
Well, maybe it's a durable tent. Back in the town, we have Christy basically tell Kenny that she doesn't want to lose him, doesn't want him to give up hope, because now he's the new sheriff, and if Boyd doesn't return, he needs to...
Talk to her.
Yeah, talk to her, don't do anything, don't kill yourself like the guy.
She's feeling sad about the guy that hung himself, and we don't, so...
Yeah, it's just, I don't know, it's just hard to really care about this
No,
guy.
it's a very weird death. It seemed like if it had the most effect on all the characters. Like, Father died, no one really... Who really cared about him when he died? If we're being honest, like, who's shown sadness for his death?
No one really.
This guy dies, man. It's like, oh,
I don't really get it. Back inside the Matthews house, we see what's her name, the mother Tabitha, continuing to dig, and then she hits something, so she comes to like the end of her digging. She can no longer dig. She's at the last point. The bottom. Then we go back to the tent, and we see the tent. It's still shaking ferociously. It's pushing a bit. The talisman actually falls off at one point, and Boyd like rushing to find it. He's like, "Oh shit, where's the talisman? Where's the talisman?" And he's looking for it. He manages to find it, and he hangs it back up. And then they hear like the foghorns.
Now, big scary foghorns and scenario. Maybe they're that far out. The monsters aren't here, and the thing that Sarah's on about roams these parts.
I mean, it sounded like a foghorn.
Yeah, but what could it be? We always hear like a siren head, where it's like these big creatures have got like a siren for a head. But I mean, maybe that's going to be.
Are you thinking Silent Hill shit here?
Aye.
It did sound a bit like that Siren Hill, which I guess is also a siren.
Head.
A foghorn or siren, whatever. So we hear that, and then there's like a big, massive light that shines onto the tent. However, we don't know what this light is. It's just a light, and it basically kind of blinds Boyd and Sarah. And that's where the episode then comes to an end with them in the tent and some massive light.
They like it teleported to like the sea, and it was like a massive ship, and that's the light and the noise.
I don't think that happened, but fair enough.
Fair enough. We'll find out soon. But we have to rate the episode, and I feel like it was a bit of a weird, retarded episode. I think it sets up the finale, but it did feel a bit filler to me, and also that death just felt weird.
I didn't like it, guys. For me, it was my least favourite episode of the series. I'm going to give it a 5.
Oh, boom, 2 5s.
There you go, guys. Two 5s. I'm going to give it a simple.
Make a 10, but
No, not nowhere near 10. But a 5 out of 10. I mean, it's not bad. I guess in a 10 episode season, if a 5 out of 10 is the worst rating you give an episode, then that's not bad. I mean, we literally watch some shows where a 5 out of 10 is probably the best rating.
exactly.
Give an episode, so 5 out of 10 is not bad. Sets us up for the finale. Will we get any deaths in the finale, or will everyone survive? I don't know. I would argue we've already had quite a lot of important deaths already, so who knows? Maybe the finale will skip some deaths, or maybe we'll get 1 or 2. I guess we'll have to find it. That's it. Leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe. We'll catch you in the next one, and that is it, guys. Till episode 10, till the finale. Peace. After 9 weeks, we are finally here. It is the finale. It is the end of the road for season 1. It is episode 10 of From, and it is called Oh, the Places We'll Go. Welcome back, guys, to Fog Entertainment. And what do you make of the episode title, Oh, the Places We'll Go?
It's a nice wee title.
Yeah, I mean, what is it like regarding, though? I mean, is it talking about, like...
I think it's the song that comes on the jukebox at the end. Oh, the places we go.
Oh, is that the song? I didn't realise that.
The song, yeah. So there you go, mate. That's your theory debunked. Good night.
Yeah, I was thinking it was maybe something else. It was something to do with locations that perhaps the faraway tree sent people, or the places that the town folks are willing to go in order to try and escape and get home. But
what about this for a tactic? We just keep jumping in the faraway tree and hopefully end up home.
That could work, like, aye.
Or you end up in Victor's closet, one of the two.
Or as we've seen what happened to Boyd in this episode, you end up God knows where.
A fucking chimney.
So we begin the episode with the townspeople. They're still gathering as much wiring as they possibly can to power the radio tower. They're basically putting all of their hopes and efforts into this radio tower, and I think it's a good idea, though. I mean, it's probably the best bet that they've got. I mean, it beats doing whatever the colony house would. I mean, what else would you rather use the colony house for? Trying to power this radio tower and reaching like an outside source that you can possibly get help from, or just sit about what the colony house do and drink all day?
Exactly, but you know what? In this episode, it made me realise that this show, I think, is heavily influenced by Lost, because in the Lost Season 1 finale, you essentially have the entire group come together to build a raft so they can escape the island, and I feel like that's what the radio tower is.
Is that season 1 of
Yeah,
Lost?
that's season 1, and then you've also got like another group doing its own thing, which is kind of Sarah and Boyd. I see a lot of similarities.
Is there a different group in Lost doing something else?
Yeah, there's loads of different. Well, I'll say there's loads of different groups. The plane split in two, so therefore you've got one group on one part of the island, another group on the other part of the island.
Was the both parts actually survive the plane crash?
Some of them do, aye. Yeah.
Alright, anyway, we'll...
Michelle Rodriguez is on the other part of the plane. Will she be on this island, though? I don't know.
I don't know.
This location.
We, speaking of locations, we now go to the Matthews house, and Julie is willing to tell Ethan a story. He's playing with his little... I don't know what you call those wee things. His wee, like, jelly finger sticks.
Yeah, I think you used to get them in magazines. I don't think you could actually buy them separately, sort of thing. I think it was like it came with a magazine.
Yeah, possibly.
Finger puppets? I don't know what you call them, man.
Yeah, but he's playing with the finger puppets, but he says he's old enough to tell his own story. Then we get Jade bursting in. Jade bursts in, and we actually said in the last review that he revealed the electricity, but it's actually in the beginning of this episode where he shows the Matthews family how you can power up electricity.
Well, I guess he found out last
yeah,
episode.
he found out, and then at the beginning of this episode, he reveals it to the Matthews family, and he goes, "Don't worry about it, Teacup. I'm sure you would have figured it out sooner or later," to Jim.
Again, he bursts in the house again.
Yeah, he's got a thing for bursting into the Matthews' house, like.
Hello?
But I suppose they would rather Jade burst in during the day than the monsters burst in at night. That's the way I look at it, so... You know, it's not too bad. In the forest, we then see Officer Boyd and our Sheriff Boyd, Officer Boyd. We'll call him Boydie. We see Boydie wake up with Sarah, and they go outside, and they are surrounded by webs, big, massive, white fucking webs. And I do not like spiders, so I'm not a massive fan of anything to do like with web-related scenery. And
I'm just glad we didn't see a big 100-foot spider, which I thought was going to happen.
yeah, that would have been lame, wouldn't it have? I mean,
Lame?
aye.
What do you mean lame as in I don't like spiders, or lame as in what the fuck's that then here?
A bit of both.
Well, maybe not 100-foot, like, but maybe what about an 8-legged freak sort of spider?
Well, I'm glad we didn't see that either. So, yeah, they look around, they're like, what the hell is going on here? Then we go back to the diner. Jim and Jade are basically telling everyone how this electricity works, how they can power it to the radio tower, and how they're going to do it tonight, and hopefully contact the outside world and make a rescue, I guess, from this place. It's at this point, I wouldn't say you get introduced to a lot more characters, but you basically just see a bunch of characters in the background that we haven't seen before up to this point. So I'm assuming most of these people are extras. We won't see them again.
Yeah, probably not. I mean, were they at the Colony House? Were they at town? We don't really fucking know, but...
I don't like this, though. I've actually got a problem with this, because I just think if you're going to have characters in the background, at least introduce them. That's what I liked about The Walking Dead. In Season 1, like, you didn't get background characters. You might have got people that were in the original camp that maybe got like one line, but you still knew who they were. See, when a show will just bring in, I'm not saying it's a deal breaker by any means, but see when they randomly hit, see when this diner's full and like more than half of them you don't even know.
But see, you know what the thing is? Like, 14 people died at the Colony House, and by name you couldn't name many. In fact, you probably could only name 2 at the 14.
Yeah, but it just kind of bothers me that all of a sudden we have these random people here.
Yeah, and I think it takes away for the ending of this episode.
I would just rather have people we don't. I would just rather people we know, even if it's a smaller amount.
No,
I didn't see it necessary to be so many people in this diner, but there is.
Because realistically, like, say like you want to give these people more screen time in season 2, it's like, well, why the fuck were you just in one background scene in season 1? Stuff like that sucks.
Well, the fact they didn't even say any words enough and no one was introduced,
yeah.
I think they were just there to make up the numbers.
Yeah, probably. I know, but you're right. There was like some specky old woman sitting down at a table. It's like, I've never seen you before.
That's what I mean. I don't like that, though.
No, I don't like
that kind of annoys me. It's like if you're watching Sons of Anarchy and Clay's like, right, I want a big meet tonight. I want everyone at the table. And then there's like Sam Crow members that you've never seen before.
This first 10 guy sits down.
And you're in episode 10. You've got a bunch of like Sam Crow guys sitting at the back of the table. And you're like, who's this guy? Who's this guy? And maybe I'm looking into it too much, but I just think if you were going to have these, even if they're not like prominent characters, even if they've been
if it was just no, but it's the fact it's like a survival horror apocalyptic thing. It's you need to know who you've got.
Yeah, and but we get a bunch of random characters here for whatever reason. Jade says, right, he's off. He calls Jim Teacup again. Then Julie chases after him, says, stop calling my dad Teacup. And then there's like some sort of awkward conversation where Jade's like, oh, you're doing this whole father-daughter, I need to stand up for my dad thing. Jade's like a weird character. I like him, but
narrates everything.
He has like no like people communication skills.
Nope.
He's a bit like Victor. Maybe him and Victor should team up.
Yeah, Victor's like the other end of the spectrum, well, he's the other end.
Yeah, they're both on opposite ends. We then see Kenny and Christy. They are stripping the ambulance to get more wire. Kenny has this globe lighting thing with him that he says he used to have while he was in college, and when they got here into the town at night, sometimes he would just look around the globe and pick out places that he wanted to go when he escapes here. Christy tells him that's pretty cool. She looks at the list of places he's written down. She goes through them. She stops at Iceland and she likes it. She thinks it's a good choice. Kenny's like, why, have you ever been? She's like, no. She said she was never much of a traveller. She didn't really get out of, was it Massachusetts or Manhattan or
some shithole.
Grand Rapids or some. Basically,
Colorado Springs, maybe.
Colorado Springs. Basically, she says, look, I've never really got out my hometown. Basically, that's as far as she's travelled to. She jumped on a bus and the bus.
Your hometown here though.
The bus went to maybe 10 miles down the road and then it stopped. Kenny's like, well, maybe we can go to Iceland together then when we escape from here. Christy doesn't seem too keen on the idea. Kenny is really bad at reading the situation, so he tells her instead of Iceland we can go somewhere else, and she's like about that, and then she says, look Kenny, I'm engaged, and he basically apologises, and he is like, right, okay, sorry, my bad, I shouldn't have brought it up, please forgive me, I'm going to go and get the rest of the wiring, and he takes off. So what's your thoughts on her basically like rejecting Kenny's advances? Because
we could say rejecting his advances. I think there wasn't any proper intent here for Kenny. It was more we'll go to Iceland here. We're making light of the fucking situation. When it wasn't like, here, this is 110% happening. I've booked first class tickets to Iceland. I didn't get that sort of vibes for it. Maybe I'm wrong, but I think she went OTT on it.
It's a bit weird though, because Christy seems to be like the only person that is really holding on to something that's on the outside world. And I know Julie mentioned like the first thing she wants to do when she gets home is like text her friends or whatever.
But that's a load of pish.
There's no one that really else that is like holding on to whatever they had back in the real world. Everyone's kind of just acting as if that's gone.
Maybe that's just a part of her story arc.
Whereas she still believes. How do we know that everyone else isn't dead?
Well, there you go. That's a valid point.
But yeah, so Kenny then is basically kind of.
Then again, the fact people showed up at different points, that would kind of go against that.
Yeah, but anyway, she rejects him because she's already engaged, so Kenny didn't take that too well, he left. Then we got Ellis. He proposed to Fatima. Well, it's a dodgy name, how am I supposed to know?
And you know what, he goes through the whole scenario about how she got here and he looked at her and all this good stuff, but I don't know, this just doesn't sit right with me, the fact she's making out with random people at the colony house and he's just fucking dropped the one knee.
Also, do you think Ellis always looks a bit stoned?
Yeah, he does. He always looks like it.
Well, maybe that's because maybe it's a gimmick. Maybe because he's in the colony house, that's what they're actually going for. Like, look there. You tell me he's not stoned.
They actually picked a really good actor for someone of Boyd and his wife's child, I think. It actually looks like both of them. And like the tone's like fucking right on the money. But anyway, I don't like Fatima's wife material.
You don't?
No.
You don't?
No, I say he does look stunned. He looks like a fucking turtle on crack, but...
Yeah, so you don't think... I know, but is it possible now that he has proposed to Fatima? Maybe she is going to stop going around kissing random girls. Maybe she's going to stop going around feeling up Julie and giving her feeling clothes.
Maybe she should just say, well, he's the person I'm married to, rather than he's just the person.
Yeah, anyway, I thought, the colony house is weird. It's all...
No, but see to this point, right, we're at the finale of the season 1. I never got the vibe that these two were, like, fucking dead serious about each other till this fucking scene.
Yeah.
So to me, this just came forced.
I think that's because it's the colony house, though, isn't it?
Maybe he's just saying this because he thinks his dad's going to die. He's like, well, I'll just marry her then.
Yeah, maybe he needs to get someone else. So I don't know, but I guess we'll see. We then go back out into the woods, and Boyd is hearing voices. He hears like a woman calling his name, so he runs deeper into the spider webs. He has to like kind of claw his way through the spider webs. So he's like pushing them open as if they're curtains. And I mean, I just couldn't imagine doing this. I fucking hate spiders and spider webs.
Like, I don't mind wee spider webs getting on me, but these are thick.
Yeah, these are
like cotton candy.
Yeah, so then he approaches this person that's like at the end. She's like kind of stuck to a tree, and it turns out it's his wife, and she's like cocooned in a spider's web, but of course it's not his wife, it's just like a figment of his imagination. Her hand reaches out and grabs Boyd, but Boyd manages to pull back. However, he starts scratching himself like crazy, and there's spiders all over him. Some pretty big spiders, and they look like weird spiders. They're kind of like they look like ants or something, or scorpion spiders,
yeah,
or beetle spiders. They looked weird. I think beetle. I'm gonna stick with beetle spiders.
Chubby tarantulas.
Yeah, so
chubby tarantulas that weren't quite as big as tarantulas, but still decent.
So
size.
Boyd has to take his shirt off. He's trying to pick these tarantulas off him, or these spiders, whatever they are. And then after about 15 seconds of watching him struggle, Sarah's like, "Oh, I'll help you with that one."
And takes one off.
And she takes one.
If it was me, I'd have fucking fly kicked it. I wouldn't have touched it with my hand.
I'd have got a flamethrower. Be like, Kyle, Sons of Anarchy, give him back. Turn around, Kyle.
You should have got that inked out, buddy.
Yeah, so that happened to Boyd, and he's got a couple of spider bites on him. We then see that he's not really reacting well to this. So are these special spiders? Have they done something to Boyd?
I wouldn't say they're specials. I don't know what type of spiders they are, but again, most spiders, especially in America, if you do get bit, you will feel nauseous and all that shit. So,
but Boyd it doesn't seem himself. He seems like fatigued, or he's struggling to even like stand and walk at this point. He keeps telling Sarah that she needs to go on herself and go without him, but she is sticking by him. You know, she's not leaving Boyd behind, which I guess is good after she killed a shitload of people. The least she can do is try and save Boyd here. So
yeah, exactly. Damn it, we're on a quest together, brother.
That works for me. But yeah, Boyd not in good shape. We then see back at the colony house, they erect the power tower. That's what I'm going to call it, the power tower. The power tower.
The tower of power.
But Jade takes off. Then he goes back to Kenny's house, and he has like a heart-to-heart with Kenny's mum. And I'm not going to lie, I would need to rewatch this scene, because I'm not too sure what it was about. But Kenny's mum was praying.
I know what it's about. Basically, he's on about that his aunt died when he was in, or his aunt or granny when he was in France, and he had to go back to America. But she always stuck with him, and no matter when people die, they always stick with you. So he's basically saying your husband will always be with you.
So you think it was a connection they had?
Aye.
Fair enough.
But it's weird that for this character, all of a sudden, just went like that, for not showing one bit of emotion to like telling her about this.
Yeah, and then he kind of sits down and starts praying with her. So, yeah, I mean, looks like Jade's not an arsehole after all.
And then he brings food to the colony house.
Yeah,
you have lettuce, you have carrot, you have everything, peas.
Yeah, but there's no peaches, so Victor still isn't anywhere to be seen.
What is Victor?
we still haven't seen Victor. Has anybody seen?
Like trees are like the trees at Bugs Bunny.
Yeah, kinda. Has anybody seen Victor? He then walks in and he gives some more food to the background characters that we've never seen before that are trying to, I don't know what they're doing, but I guess they've all got like individual jobs that they need to like try and power up the lights or something. They're all like working the lights to generate power, so that's what they're doing, the electricity. He tells them, right, everybody be on guard, don't fuck this up, anyone who messes this up is spending the night in the box. Donna's like, no one's spending a fucking night in that box. And then Jade runs upstairs and he rings the bell for the colony house about 10 million times, and even when he's almost getting us home, I think he still rubs people the wrong way.
Absolutely, he does. That's the sort of guy Jade is.
Back in the kitchen, we see Kenny and Christy. Christy says that she's stuck in two minds. One part of her wants to, get out of here and get back together, meet her engaged partner. And Kenny's like, what's the other part you want to do? She says she wants to go to Iceland with the most amazing man she's ever met. Kenny's like, that's two good options to have. But Kenny should be like, just be honest, like, fuck the other person, take my option.
Iceland.
Iceland.
Let's go shopping at Iceland.
But, like, isn't Kenny a better option here because he's right here, right now? If we're being honest, like, there is no guarantee, like, I mean, I get what she's going for, but she's holding on to something that might not happen.
Fuck knows what the world's like when you get it.
Whereas Kenny's literally...
that person's dead.
Kenny's literally right there, right now.
Exactly.
I know they can't go to Iceland, like, but they could... Yeah, plus he did get a promotion, so that makes him a bit more appealing. So then the tower's up and Jim starts... They all start celebrating, even though they haven't tried to get a connection yet, but they put the radio on. And they've got a signal.
But the rain.
Well, we don't really see the rain yet, but to be fair...
The fucking clouds are coming, alright?
The clouds are coming. Tabitha's like, right, I need to go and keep digging, plan B, she calls it. Then we see in the forest, we've got Officer Sheriff Boyd and Sarah, and they can like see. They see like they see the darkness starts raining heavily in the forest, and then they manage to climb a hill and they look and they see this what I can only describe as like a lighthouse, I guess. What would you describe it as, a lighthouse?
Yeah, it's definitely a lighthouse, which is weird.
Or a big tower with a massive light on top of it.
Yeah, it's definitely it's a lighthouse to me.
It's a lighthouse, so they see that, and it's kind of a big reveal. Back down,
But what could this be for?
there's no ships or anything, so can it really be a lighthouse?
It could maybe be for ships.
I mean, I don't think that's the big question. Obviously, look at where this town is. I suppose there's nothing really in this town that you'd be like, wow, that can't be there.
So what do you think this lighthouse is for, or whatever? What do you think it's for? What's the purpose of this thing? Does someone live in it?
Possibly.
Is this to spot people for the monsters?
Possibly.
But I'll not contradict, but I'll prove everything wrong in a minute. But you continue the rest of the episode.
Alright, you got to prove everything wrong at the end of this review?
I know, after someone responds on the radio, I'll get stuck in.
Alright, okay, so Jim is on the radio, he's changing channels, he's changing frequencies, he's like, hey, can you read me? We need help. Mayday, mayday. No one's answering, the rain's coming down. We can see that the clouds are getting dark. There's a storm coming in. Donna's like, look, we need to pack this up. Jim's like, no, we need 10 more minutes. She's like, at least get the kid inside. So Donna then tells Ethan to go inside, go into the colony house. And then Donna is taking over. She's going to help Jim then while Ethan is inside. And he's about to pack it up. He's about to give in. Jim can't get through to anybody. He is about to call it a day and put all the equipment away. But then someone responds. And he goes, are you there? Then Jim can't believe it. Jim's like, oh, we need help. Everyone's like shocked. They're like, we need help. We need help. We're stuck here. I think Jim doesn't really know what to say, though. He's kind of, and what do you say?
I think he was in total disbelief it worked.
Yeah. But before he can really figure out what he's going to say, the other voice in the radio says, is this Jim? He's like, what? How do you know my name? He went, is this Jim Matthews? And Jim's like kind of starstruck, and then the voice in the radio tells him, hey Jim, you know your wife, she really shouldn't be digging.
Oh shit!
Then this causes Jim to think, what the hell? He freaks out, tells Donna to look after the son. He sprints home to his house, where obviously Tabitha was digging. Back at the house though, before Jim can get there, basically the floor kind of just falls through.
She gets to the bottom, essentially.
Yeah, she's at the bottom, and then the floor just kind of falls through, and she falls into, I guess, she was already in the basement, so what would you even call this?
It's like a cave system.
Sort of like a cave, and then we see a light coming behind her. Is it the monsters? No, it's Victor. Victor's been in the cave. He's been looking for his peaches. Has he found any yet? We don't know.
No, actually, I thought this was like the Game Masters or something. It's like, you found it. But then it was Victor.
So then Victor points out the drawings on the walls, and he's like, they like to draw too. So by that, does he mean the monsters? Does he mean the monsters like to draw too? Or who else can he mean?
But say he does mean them, and they live down here. The fuck's going on?
And it's almost night.
Exactly, so...
Wow.
Unless because it is almost night, they're up there, and they're only down here during the day.
And even if they are down there, can they still like operate during the day, or do they sleep during the day, or can they kill you can they like actually move and operate during the day as long as they're not like in direct sunlight? Is it something to do with that, or
yeah, I've been
or do they only come alive? Do they only come awake at night time?
Because maybe we could see something like vampires where UV light hurts them. That could be used as a weapon.
Maybe Sarah and Boyd's pretty much done at this point. You know, it's getting dark. He's like, you know, leave me. But Sarah then spots the boy in white, and the boy in white is giving advice to Sarah. It's like, you need to come with me. So Sarah's like to Boyd, look, we need to come here. Boy in white points to the faraway tree. Sarah then tells Boyd, you need to get in here. Boyd doesn't really want to go, but Sarah pushes him into the faraway tree, and then Boyd comes out in like some sort of like trapped, it looks like a well without any water.
It's a chimney.
A chimney?
It's not a well. Well, it could be a well, but to me it's rectangular shaped, which is a chimney.
Oh, true, it could be a chimney. Yeah, so I guess it's a chimney then, but he's trapped there, and it looks like it's pretty high, so God knows how he's going to get out. We know it's dark now. Is he in danger? We don't even know where he is. So is he in danger of the monsters? Can they even get to this part? Even if they did see him, would they be able to get down there?
Well, see, this is... Well, I think they would, but they'd probably break their neck in the process. But they are weird things. But, right, this is my point, right? So, obviously, whoever's talking to Jim knows where his wife is. We knew the father, Preachy, whoever his name was, they saw him burying the stuff. And they were speaking to Sarah about all this stuff that they knew. So, if they know where people are all the time, then how couldn't they find people when they were, like, buried in the ground?
What?
But what do you not get about that?
The fight? Yeah.
Are the voices not the monsters?
Maybe not.
So who's talking to Jim? Saying, oh, your wife shouldn't be doing that, Jim? That has to be the monsters. Or is that the guy, is there some nonce sitting in the lighthouse?
Oh, does it have to be the monsters? Because Sarah says that there's voices saying that there's things worse than the monsters.
But what are the things worse than the monsters?
Could it be monsters?
Monsters.
Could it be?
My name's Dusty Rhodes, player.
Maybe the guy talking to Jim.
But see, I don't know. There's like something fucking bigger at play here. What's worse than the monsters? The person.
Also, would the monsters really be able to talk to Jim during the day?
Well, who's talking to Jim? How could someone possibly know that his wife's in the basement? Unless it's the monsters, and I feel like they could operate like that.
It would be the same person that maybe knew Father Carter was burying his stuff, but again, that was in the day.
But how would he know that? The voices make sense, but how would this guy, or maybe this is just the voice operating via radio? Maybe it's not even a real person.
But it's not a real person, but it knows things are happening.
Aye, like the voices? Yeah. Well, I wouldn't say these monsters are real people. They're monsters.
I'd say they're based on real people.
Aye, that doesn't mean they're real people.
Alright, fair enough. Boyd then is trapped here, and that looks like it's a good night for him.
Well, who do you think's on the phone or the radio to Jim? If you guess it, fucking boom. Who is it?
I don't know.
Oh no, fuck! You have to guess, mate. It's not. I don't know. For once in your life,
Take a fucking opportunity.
I think there could be somebody else here, because Sarah said there's things here, there's people here, or I don't know if it's people or things, but she says there's things here worse than the monsters.
And what's that? Talking rocks? Talking trees?
Maybe there's bad people.
Bad people. Fuck, I like bad people, man. I'm not buying that. That was a piss answer. I don't know who it is, but you know what? It's worse than bad people. Oh, the bad man.
It's worse than bad people. Then we go back to the diner, and again we see the radios come on, and in the background we see a bus arrive in the town. So it just pulls up at the diner, kind of stops in front of the diner, and that is where the episode ends, guys. So that is your episode 10, season 1 finale.
A bus appearance, so therefore you're probably going to get like, what, 20 characters, 12, 15, that region. Some people get killed off, but like, it goes back to the point of earlier. Why do we need to introduce all these like background characters when you're going to introduce a bus full of people to start season 2?
Yeah, I didn't really get that, but it is what it is. And again,
that just makes the extras look worse.
And is there anything to do with the timing of this bus? Like, Colony House literally lost 14 people. Then if you add Father Cartry,
maybe this is 15. The guy talking to Jim.
Maybe there's going to be about 15 people on this bus. Could it be some sort of like weird quota thing where if somebody dies, they have to be replaced by someone else? I mean, could that be a thing?
It could be.
Or has this bus just randomly appeared at this time? It is pretty close to being dark. There's nobody right now, apart from Jim, that is in the town. So, I mean, what are these bus people going to do? Are they even going to survive? Or it's time's running out for them. It's almost dark. It's going to be interesting to see what happens with this bus.
This bus could either survive, or the entire bus could literally get wiped out, and you've got one person left.
Yeah, so we will see what happens. Lots of questions to be answered here. Is Boyd going to make it? I mean, what happened to Sarah?
He's making it. He's top, man.
The boy in white, well, we learn more about him. Can Victor and Tabitha get out of that cave underneath the houses that they're in? What is happening to the people in the Colony House and the storm? What if the storm destroys their radio tower? Will they have the equipment to rebuild another one? Lots of questions, guys, to answer. as we go into season 2. We'll have some theory vids coming out. We'll have some list vids as well. We'll be ranking all the characters. We'll be ranking all the deaths, and we'll be ranking all the episodes from season 1. But that's going to do it for now. Final thoughts on season 1, and what would you give season 1 as an overall rating? We're not asking you to add up all the episodes and divide them by 10. I just mean, like, overall, what would you rate the season out of 10 as a season overall?
I'll give it a 7.5.
I was thinking around 7.5. I don't know if we allowed to give 7.5. So
yeah, I'll get an 8. You give it a 7. Boom, 7.5.
Oh, there you go. 7. I think 7.5 is fair.
I feel like the plot's very good, right? But I do think in some cases it is maybe. I think it's going to get to a point, maybe it's season 3 or 4, where the entire plot is lost what it was going for originally.
Do you think this is the type of show that can go 3 or 4 seasons though? Because do
you not think what makes this show's the mystery though? I feel like the more you reveal, the worse it will get.
Well, maybe they'll just have maybe they won't reveal much.
I think, like I said, it's very, very similar to Lost. Of course,
I just don't
Big
see
Harold was on Lost. I feel like he's going to want to right some wrongs, and has he done that so far? I'd say so. But do you not think a lot of this stuff's like when the cat gets out the bag, it's like, well, that's a bit shite.
Yeah, so you think that the less they reveal, the better the show's going to be?
Yeah. I do genuinely think that. I think things like concepts like that are better when it's like it's revealed like in the last ever episode with like 15 minutes to go, rather than here it's revealed halfway through the show and you get 3 seasons of them like, haha, remember we didn't know all this stuff, big man.
Well, we'll find out, guys, what gets revealed in season 2. That's it. Leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe. We will catch you in the next one. And of course, until then, we've been Fog Entertainment. Thanks for watching, and goodbye.